This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. Let me remove my water bottle. I am Tori, and it's Tuesday.
Pulling a Lindsay today.
With 27th, I am. I'm Tori here with Lindsay and Brandon. Good to see you both. Let's get started. How many of you, raise your hands if you're at home or clap, are ready to get back to normal? Woo! Huh? Ready?
Oh, wow.
Studio audience. That's what I wanted my stand-up to sound like. All right, the CDC just released new guidelines for the pandemic. We got you covered. They say vaccinated Americans can now ditch masks outdoors in small groups, also when dining outside or biking and running. But the CDC says we should still wear masks and stay 6 feet apart in public spaces like concerts or sports events. So this is exciting to me. This is a sign. This is an omen. This is we're moving forward, and this is logical. We're having a logical conversation about masks, when and when not to wear them. Thoughts, Brandon?
I don't care about logistics, or anything like that, Tori. I want to be out. I cannot wait to be out at festivals, concerts, even New York Giants football games in the fall with the fans out there enjoying the things that we love, enjoying the things that used to bring us together. We've missed out on that for so long. Now we're almost this close.
Lindsay, he such needs that
because
stuff, doesn't he?
You do too.
I thought I was about to go crazy, but I think you're about to go crazier than I am.
What do you think, Liz? Because I'm like you. I'm such an extrovert. What do you think?
I was reading an article recently about how there's actually no real proof that being outside and jogging maybe across the way from somebody causes you to catch COVID in any way, and any real studies that we have. So a lot of times, as somebody who was trying to be an extrovert but still trying to abide by all the rules, like I would go out to dinner, and be outdoors. I didn't see people who were eating and sitting at the table, or even when you got to the table, keep your mask on. So these rules to me aren't like so updated. I think people just want to know, now that we're vaccinated, how can we move more freely? I think when you're in closed spaces, yes, wear the mask. But when you're outside, I haven't even seen kids with a mask, honestly, outside. I know you have, but I haven't seen any.
Yeah, well, that's in case if you do go jogging, which is something I would never do. Okay, let us know. Let us know if you guys are runners and if you feel more free to let them go as well. All right, this next case has me a buzz, and I want to know what you guys think. There is a big free speech case headed to the Supreme Court, and believe it or not, it all centers around a cheerleader. Brandy Levy didn't make varsity when she was 14 years old. She got upset about it. She posted about it on Snapchat. The snap included a number of lewd gestures and comments, including her middle finger and a number of F-bombs saying bleep school, bleep softball, bleep cheer, bleep everything. Well, her message, posted outside of school grounds and during the weekend, got her in trouble with the team. They kicked her off the squad for a year, saying she violated the team's code of conduct. Her parents appealed, and now the case has gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. Here's what Brandy had to say about it recently on GMA.
I feel like when I signed this code of conduct, I didn't sign away my First Amendment rights. So I feel that I should be able to say what I want out of school hours, and if it's not during a school activity. I was not directing towards any coaches. I didn't have the school's name in it. I didn't have coach's name or any teammates' names in it.
So this is fascinating to me because I'm such a free speech person, right? And I wrote a term paper on a case called Tinker v. Des Moines, which is super famous. And actually, some of you in Iowa have written me that you know the Tinkers. Oh. They, in 1965, wore a black armband to go against the Vietnam War in school. And they got kicked out. And it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And the very famous, my favorite statement says, children do not shed their constitutional rights at the school gates. Meaning if it's a public school, that's government, they can't tell you what to do inside. Well, this is off campus. So now we're taking the Tinker off campus. And the Tinkers actually wrote in and said, imagine you're a kid and you want to wear a digital armband, right, on social media, or you want to wear a certain t-shirt, or you want to attend a certain rally, or you want to stand up for something off campus. Now the public school is going to tell you you can't. This, to me, is a straight violation of freedom of speech for high schoolers who are dealing with some strong climate change, dealing with shootings, and dealing with a lot more than we know. So what do you guys think?
Well, did the Tinkers, did they sign a code of conduct like that young woman did? Because I come from a different background where I've been a part of sports franchises and organizations for quite some time now. And every year you have to sign some sort of paper, some moral conduct, to where if you have anything, and this was pre-social media when I was in high school, but any offensive conduct, any offensive behavior or anything that or language could get you in trouble.
Right.
So with what she just said, tell me you're entitled without telling me you're entitled.
Here's the problem.
Tell me you're entitled without telling me you're entitled.
A public school is different than a team. A team can have a business, a corporation, and they can have a moral clause that you can follow. But the moral clause here might be violating someone's First Amendment rights because a public school equals the government. And the First Amendment is about the government telling us, no matter if you're 13 or 103, that I should be able to wear a t-shirt, an armband, I should be able to speak my truth when I'm off campus or in campus. Okay. What do you think?
Even simplifying it, like when you think about social media, like I don't know what you guys were doing in high school or when you were 14.
I was marching. I'm such a nerd.
But even the way I was in my head or to my friends, I'm sure I was cursing out teachers or very upset. And so the only difference now is that we have social media and that kids are like growing up to record the things they do and record every moment of life. But like nothing about her behavior is abnormal for a 14-year-old that's upset that she's not getting something that she wanted, that she might have worked hard for, or just maybe being a brat. But that's actually 14-year-old behavior. So to get kicked off the team for that because she recorded it, like so many of her peers that record every single thing they do from wake up in the morning, eat breakfast, to have dinner, it's kind of crazy that, you know, the rules aren't a little bit flexible, and knowing that we live in this digital age.
And not only that, most schools right now, because of pandemic, are off campus, right?
Yeah.
So now you're limiting anyone from anything that they can say, which is a huge violation.
A moral. There's nothing different from the JV cheer squad than the star basketball player on the basketball team getting upset and then saying, oh, we had some girls are tweeting out some rap lyrics.
But she's claiming the moral clause is violating the First Amendment.
No. So
yes,
we
exactly
signed a moral clause here with Tegna.
I know we're getting paid.
We're business.
This is a corporation. This is a high school. That's a public high school. So I think when you're in college, yes, they're giving you, in exchange for your college career, they're giving you a free tuition.
So we're saying that the kids can go out and just do whatever they want, say whatever they want.
Freedom of speech means any kid can say whatever they want fully without fear of government coming onto them. That's what I feel, but we got to go to the next story. Before we go to break, we got a viral video to share. This is straight of Back to the Future. Okay. A man is seen, look at this.
Ooh. Wow.
He's on a hoverboard. I've always wanted a hoverboard so bad, down a city street, past apartment buildings, restaurants, even other cars. It turns out the man is really good with the $20,000 hoverboard. He's got a ton of these videos, although most don't show him doing it in the middle of the city. we should be here. This is
These
where the
are
future
about to
is.
get so regulated.
Totally.
Imagine 1 million people get these and flying around all over the highways. Like, it can't happen. This guy's about to ruin it for everybody.
I'm like a kid in the candy store because I still ride the bird scooters. So now this is where I need to upgrade to.
Do you guys
right
remember
here,
Marty
hoverboard.
McFly? Like on the. Do you guys know Back to the Future?
Of course.
Okay. I didn't know if I was too old. Okay.
Do we know Back to the
Marty.
Future?
All right. I'm making sure. All right. Switching gears here. Coming up on DBL, a man caught on camera injecting his ex with poison. He was convicted, but why is he still saying he didn't do it? Don't miss the True Crime Chronicles. And could Caitlyn Jenner really become California's first transgender governor? What her children are saying about her run? Those are the Kardashians coming up next. Closed captioning provided by.
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome to DBL. Check out our coworkers tuning in from home during the pandemic. Stay healthy, everyone. There's Jody. How I miss everybody. All right. Is the world ready for Caitlyn Jenner to be governor of California? And can she pull it off? Well, the 71-year-old former Olympic gold medalist, TV star, and now transgender activist announced she's running for governor and is reportedly working with former Trump aides. She's already got a bunch of merch for sale, including mugs, shirts, hats, bumper stickers, and wine glasses. Caitlyn is hoping to pull off what former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger did back in 2003 by winning in a recall election. But it seems like Caitlyn's family may not be too into the idea. TMZ reports the Jenner brothers strongly believes that she should not be running. Meantime, it also appears the Kardashians will, it's off-brand, I think, for them, the conservative nature of Caitlyn. But I also think that Caitlyn hurt them really bad when she wrote about Kris Jenner and exposed a lot in her book. And ever since then, when I talk frayed relationships and I study the Kardashians, I don't think Khloe's spoken to her since then. And Kylie's the only close one now at all.
One person that does support this is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hey-yo!
he said that he supports this bid. He also wasn't qualified to be governor. My office like governor, and we're not talking about like local, really hyper local in your community. You should start there maybe.
That's a good point.
But like he just wants to go for governor and has like no experience.
She wants to go for governor.
I mean, sorry, she wants to go. If a lot of California is not loving Gavin Newsom, why would you just want to replace it with somebody who credentials is Olympian, which is a great credentials, but also a TV star? Like, what are you going to do for California?
Was it childish of me that like the first thing that popped up in my head when I read this wasn't like, oh, she's not experienced. I'm like, what's up with these former Kardashians now running for political office? Kanye wanted to go for president. Now he wants to be the governor of California. But I was just thinking about it on the LGBTQ front, and because there was a lot of people speaking out like, how are you going to run for a Republican seat while you are a trans person? So I did some reading, and some people feel as though that'll be a good thing, because if he does get in there, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
If she does get in there, then just look at with all the rules and all the new laws that are out against youth sports and the education for LGBTQ. Look what she can probably help do. I mean, there's an option there, right? I'm trying to be somewhat.
No, there's an option there. And Arash in my ear was saying exactly what I was thinking. What's so interesting, Brandon, is in California, the LGBTQ rights groups do not support Caitlyn Jenner.
Interesting.
And I think that's, not only do you not get your Kardashians, which is like a gazillion votes, you don't get the people that you come from at that point. You might want to back off.
Yeah,
right? I just think this is a losing.
And also,
proposal.
his son recently deleted social media because he's so embarrassed, according to TMZ. So that's not a good place to be with your family.
That's awkward. All right, well, stay tuned, because coming up on DBL, this is insane. A man ambushes his ex. It's all on camera. He was convicted, but he's still saying it wasn't me. This bizarre true crime chronicles you want to see. It's coming up next.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from
NIH, are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested in even different platforms in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to D. It's a cryptic true story that happened in Virginia, and to this day, the convicted killer is still saying.
Joseph Merlino and Ellie Tran met in Virginia. They both had good jobs and were after that, their relationship got rocky. They eventually split and were fighting for custody of their 2-year-old daughter. Joseph was accused of stalking and trying to break into Ellie's home. So she installed surveillance. Caught on camera, you see Ellie returning home, walking out of her car, attacks, and injects her with a needle. In that needle was cyanide. Ellie died from the deadly substance the next day. Prosecutors argued Joseph intentionally poisoned his ex to get custody over their child.
I didn't do it, what they're accusing me of, and they haven't even proved it.
Joseph insisted he had nothing to do with it and claimed the video was actually a different man.
I'm not only hoping to get my name cleared, I'm hoping that this insidious justice that has been brought over these past 2 years won't fall into someone else's hands. And hopefully I can get some case laws out of it under my name.
Prosecutors presented mounds of evidence, like the video and Joseph's internet searches, which revealed he looked up cyanide poisoning. Joseph was charged with first-degree murder and then sentenced to life in prison. 4 years later, he's still maintaining his innocence. Why? And will he appeal his conviction?
Earlier, Al and I spoke with the reporter who actually interviewed Joseph behind bars. Take a look at this. We are joined by 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton. Thank you, Allie, so much for being here. It's been 4 years. Why is Joseph still maintaining his innocence? And is there a chance he can appeal his conviction?
Well, he said that he was not the man on the video. If you saw the video, the victim actually put surveillance video or cameras up, and it caught the whole act. You see a man run through the bushes and stick something in the victim's buttocks. He says that that wasn't him in the video. He said that he was at his brother's house, which was a few hours away when it all happened. So he still stands by that that wasn't him, and he said that he just stands by his innocence.
Wow.
4 years ago, he said that he was planning on appealing. He wanted new attorneys in the case. 4 years later, we really haven't heard much of him filing an appeal at this point.
All right, well, you covered the entire trial and even interviewed Joseph in jail. What was that like, and did he tell you anything?
It's crazy because I've never interviewed someone. That was the first time I've ever interviewed someone in jail. And I remember him saying to me, it looks sunny outside. How is it?
Oh, wow.
And I remember saying, it's beautiful. It's beautiful out. And when we talked, he's a very smart man. He always said he didn't do it. He said that while he was in prison, he was going to start writing a book, and just stands by that he didn't do this. It was a crazy trial. A lot of things came out. He actually went on a 70-day hunger strike while he was in the Virginia Beach City Jail. He was having seizure-like activity in the courtroom. So it was definitely a crazy trial to cover.
I just want to ask you how Ellie's family is doing all these years later, and their daughter, if you know, and could tell us more about that.
I haven't talked to her family ever since the trial ended. I know they had a really, really difficult time. Obviously, Ellie was their pride and joy. She actually brought her parents to live with her. And I believe the sister lived in Chicago, and she moved here to Virginia Beach to raise Ellie's daughter. So I think they're still trying to, move on from this and find closure.
To learn more about this case, visit 13newsnow.com. This story is also the subject of a new podcast episode. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Today, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail. How Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. And this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, finally, and it's time to start thinking about preparing your home for the season. Here's this week's DBL Home Hack, presented by American Home Shield. HVAC prep is so important. We're talking about the basics: heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So here are 3 signs your AC tune-up might be due. Number 1, if your utility bills are going up, that means your unit is working overtime because something needs to be replaced. If you smell a bad odor in your house, that might point to a clogged line or mold buildup. And poor airflow could signify a clogged or dirty air filter. Tune-ups are super important to keep your air conditioning unit and home running smoothly. When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowners insurance leaves out. Visit ahs.com to learn more and get a free quote today. That's very good to know. We got some comments.
Okay, on what?
A lot on the cheerleader. Eloisa says, let this be her first lesson in signing a contract. And again, what she's trying to take to the Supreme Court is to say this contract violates my First Amendment rights. She's saying this contract shouldn't be allowed.
But Brandon's saying you should have brought that out before you signed it. That is violating your First Amendment rights.
Hey, guys, before we sign this, if I'm going to make this team, or if I'm going to be on this team, can I still drop F-bombs all over Snapchat? Will I get in trouble for that?
The problem is, to go to the Supreme Court, you need an actionable offense to have occurred, right? So she need to have actually violated this moral clause to then bring up to the Supreme Court that this, in fact, is unconstitutional on the surface.
Hey, no wonder why the Tinkers retweeted you over there. You're on this.
So nothing to say back to that. I was glad to have you back. It's because I take it seriously. Imagine you not being able to post something or wear a T-shirt or go to church or go to a certain gay pride or a non-gay pride. I mean, even if you wanted to march in something that's against the school's values, that should be allowed off campus, in my opinion. And we'll see what the Supreme Court says. Finally, Betty says, I'm confused with what Caitlyn Jenner's platform is other than vote for me. I'm a celebrity.
Yeah, she's all over the place. We'll see what happens.
She is. All right, goodbye to our coworkers from home. We're new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Are we on a path back to normal? How the new guidance from President Biden and the CDC will affect you. A cheerleader Snapchat rant leads to a free speech case in the Supreme Court. Should kids be held accountable for their language off campus? Caitlyn Jenner's running for governor, but is her own family not supporting her? While you won't see the Kardashians on the campaign trail. And Miranda Lambert's emotional return to live music.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, April 27th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joining us from home. All right, let's get right to it, because how many of you are ready to get back to normal? We're almost
here
there.
For it.
The CDC just released new guidelines for the pandemic. They say vaccinated Americans can ditch masks outdoors in small groups, also when dining outside or biking and running. But the CDC says we should still wear masks and stay 6 feet apart in public spaces like concerts or sporting events. What do you think of these new guidelines, DBL Nation? We always want to hear from you. What do you make of this, Al?
First of all, can we just say I'm glad to be having this conversation?
I know.
Absolutely, man.
Rather than what are you going to do on Zoom for Thanksgiving this year? Yeah. This is the conversation we're having, so I'm here for this. And it kind of tracks, because if you think about sporting events, I don't know, we've been to sporting events, there's yelling. There's, little droplets are being expelled when you're singing along, especially a lot of people. So that tracks with me. So I'm here for it. Will everybody adhere to it? Probably not. But if half the people in there were half as safe, so I'm all for, not sacrificing the perfect for the good.
Yeah, we're moving forward, man. Way to keep it positive. We're moving forward with this. Yes, but I don't know how many people are going to adhere to this, right? By June, or was it the end of May, Joe Biden promised everyone who wants a vaccine.
July 4th. Oh, the vaccine.
Wants a vaccine could have a vaccine, right? So by now, people have made up their minds whether they want the vaccine or don't.
Yes.
They know the repercussions if they don't want it. They know what's going to happen or don't know what's going to happen. That's on them. I think the rest of America needs to move forward. I think we need to start opening up sporting events. I think concerts outside need to be opened up. We need to start getting back to normal, because people are getting vaccinated. If you choose not to, you know the repercussions for that.
Erica, what do you make of this?
I think it's another card in our COVID bingo game, and I'm not trying to say that to be cavalier about it. I just think that it's another example of people who have opted to get vaccinated, people who have opted not to get vaccinated, people who are still waiting. We all have these cards that were dealt, and they look very, very different from one person to another. I do think it's important that if you are going to, regardless of what your decision is, that you're at least informed and the people around you are informed. But I think that this is a really great step in the right direction, and that's what it is.
Yep. And Erica, we have DBL Nation kind of echoing all of your sentiments. A lot of people just ready to get back to normal. But also I see a lot of people saying that they don't want us to take steps backwards.
Right.
So it's a delicate dance. All right, so there is a big free speech case headed to the Supreme Court, and believe it or not, it all centers around a cheerleader. So Brandy Levy didn't make varsity when she was 14 years old. She got upset, posted about it on her Snapchat. The snap included a number of lewd gestures and comments, including her middle finger, and a number of F words saying bleep school, bleep softball, bleep cheer, bleep everything. Her message posted outside of school grounds and also during the weekend got her in trouble with the team. They kicked her off the squad for a year, saying she violated the team's code of conduct. Her parents appealed, and now the case is headed to the Supreme Court. Here's what Brandy said about it recently on GMA.
I feel like when I signed this code of conduct, I didn't sign away my First Amendment rights. So I feel that I should be able to say what I want out of school hours, and if it's not during a school activity. I was not directing towards any coaches. I didn't have the school's name in it. I didn't have coach's name or any teammates' names in it.
So she's speaking to that code of conduct at their school. You're not allowed to disparage any of your fellow cheerleaders. You're not allowed to disparage the coaches or the school. So there is, to her point, Al, there is a gray area here in the sense that she did not mention the specific notes that were mentioned in the contract that she signed.
Right, and I mean, let's unpack this a little bit, because this isn't just an easy, like, well, she shouldn't speak like that, or she has a right to speak like that. I think some of these rules are in place to prevent bullying. You know, for her to not go on and say something disparaging about a teammate that could snowball, and we've seen how that's ended up. But at the same time, if we go here, if we say that she deserves to be kicked off the team and the school is in the right, well, then that rule, does that now apply to every student? Does that apply to the coaches themselves? Are they allowed to curse in their off time?
Well, they're being paid.
Right, they're being paid as well, but so now we have two different rules. So now that's another thing that we need to unpack. And I think that when we start this, I don't think we know where it's going to end, Jeff, and that's the problem that I see with this. It wasn't like she was saying, I'm going to do something to the school, I'm going to do something to one of my coaches. That's a different situation. A student venting their frustrations that may not have the vocabulary to expound on their real feelings, I don't feel like it merited her being kicked off the team.
I do. I think she should be kicked off. She signed a code of conduct. Conduct yourself in a certain way, or else you will face the repercussions. People do not want to face repercussions in 2021, right? They want to do whatever they want and say whatever they want to say. I'm all for the First Amendment. I'm all for free speech. What she just said was her lawyer feeding her words. She doesn't know what she just said. I didn't say anything. I wasn't saying anything about any parents or discouraging any students. There's repercussions for your actions. She signed a code of conduct. I understand we work in a place, but if I badmouth you on my social media and my own time, that might be a freedom of speech, but that doesn't make for a great work environment. If you failed on your own merit, it doesn't give you the right to go and discourage everybody else in that school or that worked hard to make that team.
Erica?
Yeah, Jeff, when you fail on your own merit, is this really the argument that we want the First Amendment, the hill that we want the First Amendment to die on? She wasn't good enough to make varsity, and she threw a temper tantrum. And of course, we all are entitled to our temper tantrums, but there are varying degrees. And if you do something that causes you to stick out and embarrass your team, because everybody knows that when you are on a team and someone does something outlandish, it reflects poorly on the rest of your group. So not only was she not good enough to make varsity, she also she wasn't someone who the team clearly wanted to have them represent. So what are we talking about here?
I think it's more layered than that, because this school, it's not that she wasn't good enough to make varsity. She was apparently really good. It's just this school has a rule where you have to do a year of JV before you are varsity, even if you're the best freshman, even if you're the best student in the entire district, you have to do a year of JV before you can then be promoted to varsity.
What a silly rule.
Despite your athletic ability, right? So I don't know about that part. We can kind of table that. I do agree with Erica and Jeff in the sense that this is going to be a tough lesson for you that you're going to have to face for the rest of your life. To Jeff's point, if I were to say anything on this show or anything on my social media that disparages my fellow colleagues, there's going to be some stiff repercussions to that. So I think it's really good that our youth discover that early on. However, I don't think she should have been kicked off the squad given her talent for a year. I think that she should have been suspended. I think she should have been talked to. But I think a year, when it comes to athletics, can really affect someone's entire
livelihood going into their future in other schools.
We got to move on. I know that. But Michael Jordan didn't make the basketball team his first year, right? He did not play his first year because he wasn't good enough. He made it through that and became the greatest in the world. What lessons are we teaching our kids when everybody gets a first place ribbon when you're in 10th place?
Well, I'm not saying she should get a first place ribbon, and I'm not saying that
you're saying she should be on the team when she would be the bad egg in the locker room.
I definitely think that she should have major repercussions and she should have been suspended. I'm with you there. I just don't know if that should boil down to a full year, because I know if you're not practicing for a full year, it can affect the rest of your trajectory. And I don't know if that one meltdown should equate to losing your entire future.
There's repercussions.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
this
I'm
is
saying.
cheerleading, and it's the equivalent of a redshirt freshman. I mean, she became that good how? If she was good enough to really make varsity and she had those skills, then she also has a private coach, or she's going to someplace outside of the school. Why not take that year and learn how to be on a team and also make your skills better so that when you are on varsity the next year, you are the shining star, as opposed to having this conversation 4 years later. That was a major waste of time.
We were also talking about a 14-year-old that's still a child mentally. We gotta factor that in.
But you have to learn at some point. That's what I'm saying. You have to.
Can you still have the lesson learned without?
But you have to fail. You have to go through it as a human. You have to go through it.
Believe me, I look at my failures and I'm grateful for my failures. I just don't know if. Good conversation.
I could talk about it all day. I know.
I wish we could. Coming up, good conversation though, you guys. Coming up on DBL, Tesla CEO Elon Musk will host Saturday Night Live, but not every cast member is on board. Why he's causing all kinds of drama. Plus, has Kim Kardashian already moved on from Kanye West? Ooh, the political pundit she might be dating. And could Caitlyn Jenner really become California's first transgender governor? What her children are saying about her run, coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. If you only knew what we were discussing during the break. Okay, so is the world ready for Caitlyn Jenner to become governor of California, and can she pull it off? The 71-year-old former Olympic gold medalist, TV star, and now transgender activist announced she's running for governor and is reportedly working with former Trump aides. She's already got a bunch of merch for sale, including, there you see it, mugs, shirts, hats, bumper stickers, and wine glasses.
How long did it take to come up with that one? Did somebody get paid for that slogan?
Right, I know. Caitlyn for California. Very literal.
Wow.
Caitlyn is hoping to pull off what former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger did back in 2003 by winning in a recall election. But it seems like Caitlyn's family may not be too into the idea. For example, TMZ reports that the Jenner brothers, Brody, Brandon, and Bert, don't think she's qualified and strongly believe that she should not be running. Meantime, it also appears that the Kardashians will not be campaigning for Caitlyn either. That is according to TMZ. Wow. Erica, is this a good idea? Will California, do you think, go for Caitlyn? And what is she running on? Because we haven't heard that yet.
I don't know. First of all, I never say never, because we've seen strange things happen. It's really up to the people of California, but it's alarming to me that we know more about her merch than about her platform at this point. So, hey. And
Erica, just to reiterate, it's Caitlyn for California, all right? Somebody got a check for that. I'll just say this. Look, I don't know who her base is. Who's her base?
Well, she's Republican.
No, I get that, but like the Republicans are not just some monolith.
Right.
I mean,
she didn't vote for Trump this last election, but she did the one before. So I think a lot of people are confused where she's
that's what I'm saying, Jeff. I'm like, okay, it's not like she's a diehard Trumper that's made it known this is my guy. She has said things that have alienated people in the transgender community, so she doesn't have their backing. She's not going to have the sisters' backing because they're saying it's not. She's not going to have the brothers' backing because they're saying she won't. So I don't know who's going to vote for her and what her platform is.
She's going off of popularity, name recognition.
Listen, a Republican in California seems crazy just to say out loud, doesn't it? Just no matter who's running for that at this point. But not having the Kardashian/Jenner crew at her back is going to be a major blow, because if you had them and all their promotion and all their social media, there's a good chance, right?
I am surprised. I get it with the older Kardashian girls, but I'm surprised because we've always seen Kylie and Kendall. I mean, that's their father, that's their mother, I should say, but we've always seen them gravitate towards her and support her no matter what.
Right.
So I'm a little surprised that Kendall and Kylie are not supporting her. But I'm over celebrities running.
Yeah.
I'm over it. Can we have
Matthew McConaughey tossing that around, The Rock's tossing it around. It's like, we need some people that know what they're doing. And also, Republican, California's giving us Reagan and Schwarzenegger.
Not in 2021.
That's true. There's a lot of red in California.
Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us to break down the latest COVID headlines. We'll be right back.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to DBL. As we discussed earlier, the CDC has updated its mask guidelines for fully vaccinated people. So, of course, our own Dr. Payal Kohli joins us live to help make sense of it all. So, Dr. Kohli, we know that if we're outside and fully vaccinated, we can get rid of the mask altogether. But what about those who aren't fully vaccinated? And can you describe what this all means? We want to hear it from you.
So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, I am extremely conservative. And any advice that I give is always going to err on the side of being extremely cautious and keeping everybody as safe as possible, because I really want to keep DBL Nation safe. So let's talk about this. So fully vaccinated means that you're at least 2 weeks out from your final dose of the vaccination. We also know that the risk of transmission outdoors is very low. It's far, far, far lower than the risk of transmission indoors. But having said that, we also know that you can catch the virus even outdoors, and that even fully vaccinated people can catch the virus. So I really like to tell everybody, whether you're vaccinated or not, to try to follow that 2 out of 3 rule. So if you're outdoors and you're able to social distance, you can lose that mask. But if you come up to a crosswalk, for example, where there's lots of people huddled around, it takes one person to be sick and coughing and a few seconds for you to get exposed. So put that mask on if you're approaching other people or you're unable to social distance even outdoors.
Doc, you're always great, giving us great advice. I'm going to give you a little. That word conservative that you used, take it easy with that word. It's a little taboo. It's a little taboo.
Fair enough.
Don't check your mentions for about an hour.
I'm just joking with you, Doc. So, Doc,
should I think about running for governor as well? What do you guys think?
You get my vote.
For Dr. Kohli, yes. Anything with Dr. Kohli, you have my vote.
Yes. All right, back to business. If I'm going to a party, Dr. Kohli, there's vaccinated people there, there's unvaccinated people there. What's Big Jeff to do?
So, Jeff, the way that you can keep yourself safest at the party is to be vaccinated yourself and to have a party outdoors. And if you're invited to a party like that, make sure that I get invited too, because I am fully vaccinated as of January. But if you're not vaccinated or the party is indoors, I would really urge caution. In fact, I would discourage you from going, because we're seeing that the variants have now really started attacking the younger people. So stay away from gatherings indoors where people are not vaccinated, you yourself are not vaccinated. But if you really want to get your life back to normal, the way to do that is to get that vaccine so you can start going to parties again.
All right, I don't even know if I know what to do at a party now.
Please.
Dr. Kohli, they're saying that 8% of Americans, which is about 5 million people, have not gone for their second shot. If you had a chance to say anything to those people, what would you say?
You know, I would say that I understand that life comes up, barriers come up, people are fearful of the side effects, but really make it a priority, because the narrative that the first one is good enough, we're 80% protected after the first one, is really a false narrative, because what we don't know is how long that protection is going to last. It could go away in a few weeks. So really make sure that you increase the depth and the duration of your protection by going for that second shot. And that way you're good until the booster comes along and we can start having parties again. And Jeff is going to have the first one, apparently, right?
Yes, he's got the house for it. Come on, Jeff.
Wait.
Only if Al wears a one-piece jumper.
Oh,
oh, yeah, of course.
That's a given.
Waste of breath.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kohli. We appreciate you. We will be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verified team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail. how Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just one burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, and this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. You've got to check out this viral video. A man is seen hoverboarding down a city street past apartment buildings, restaurants, and even other cars. You guys, look at that. Turns out the man is really good with the $20,000 hoverboard. He's got a ton of these videos, although most don't show him doing it in the middle of the city. How cool is that, you guys? What?
Isn't that just a big, what do you call those things where you can guide?
Drone?
Drone, yeah. Isn't that a big drone?
Yeah.
It's a hoverboard.
It's not a hoverboard. It's a thing with fans on the bottom. It's
Hey, Erica, it's called a hoverboard.
Erica, are you impressed? I wanted a Marty McFly situation.
I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's not cool about it? I mean, I hope his insurance is, all together and updated.
You know who I immediately saw purchasing this? Erica? Anthony.
Who?
That's a good call.
You know who I immediately saw returning it? Erica.
Oh, that's too good.
That's true.
Is it an old man moment? Because I'm like, that could cause an accident in the streets.
Yes,
like if you looked at it.
Very old man.
If you're driving, you saw a man go flying by, you wouldn't turn your head.
And take a picture.
That causes an accident.
Yeah. Oh, Sam's defense, I'd take a picture while I was driving. Good one.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. Chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be part of our DBL Nation. But if you are sticking around, here is what's coming up. Kim Kardashian is a single woman, but is she already mingling with another man? We're going to tell you all about who it might be. Plus, country singer Miranda Lambert gets emotional at her first concert since the pandemic broke out. And thank you to our coworkers watching from home right now. We miss you guys. DBL is new every day. There's Megan. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam, here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. Okay, so some Saturday Night Live cast members don't seem too pleased that Elon Musk will be hosting the show next week. SNL announced that the SpaceX mogul will host the show on May 8th with musical guest Miley Cyrus. In the past, Elon has been outspoken on Twitter, saying he would not get the vaccine and compared stay-at-home orders to being under house arrest. He has since changed his tune and says he is now supportive of getting the vaccine. So still, some SNL cast members don't seem to be on board. After Elon tweeted, "Let's find out how live Saturday Night Live is," Bowen Yang posted, "What the bleep does that even mean?" And A.D. Bryant reposted a tweet from Bernie Sanders criticizing the world's billionaires. Elon is the third richest man in the world. Okay, so Jeff, you and I love SNL.
Yeah.
What do you think about Elon hosting, and what do you think about the reaction of some of the cast members?
And I'm a fan of Elon, and I could understand they could have a point here if they're like, if you're not vaccinated, it is mandatory that you do. If you shoot a movie, it's mandatory that you be tested at least every day. Now it's a different story, maybe vaccinated. So with that being said, he changed his views on that. Why are these guys going after a person that's going to bring eyeballs to your show? You could put anybody you want in that seat, and I'll welcome them to the show because it's going to bring eyeballs to our show, whether I agree with their political opinions or whatever it may be or not. I don't think this is a good move, because if you go on the street and say, who's Bowen Yang, who's A.D. Bryant, and who's Elon Musk, which one are you going to say? You're going to say Elon, right?
That's fact. You know what? When I saw this story, it just made me think about an ideology I have, and it sounds kind of harsh, and it doesn't apply to anybody at this table or anybody on Skype with us right now, but we are not friends. And I think that applies more often than not in a lot of people's lives. People have a lot of emotions when it comes to who's coming into your life. And a lot of times, unless they're your friends, if they're not causing an immediate threat to you or your family, let them do their job. And his job is to bring eyeballs to SNL, which we are talking about right now, which we would normally not be. So he's doing his job. I don't care how my exterminator feels about certain things. We are not friends. So I don't care. And
you
they
don't have
should
to spend
neither.
a week with your exterminator. They have. I agree with the both of you, just to say that. But
Erica's making a face.
They do have to spend a week with the people that come and guest host. They're with them 12-hour days every day for an entire week.
Yeah, I think that they are well within their rights to speak out about how they feel. In 20 years in media, there has been at least one example in any studio that I've worked in where someone has been asked to be a guest or has come into the studio that I did not agree with. I think you have to kind of figure out how far your disagreement goes, if it's something that doesn't align with your views, or are they actually actively trying to go for the oppression of you and people who look like you. So you have to understand that there's a spectrum here, but I think it's completely okay for the two SNL actors to have an opinion, and I think it's okay for Elon Musk to speak out about that opinion.
I think you're absolutely right, Erica. I'm excited. I like seeing a clash of opinions. I like to see how that plays out and how it works out. I think we need to see more of that. We do that here on this show. I think SNL should welcome it, and I think it would balance it a little bit. So, okay. Now that Kim Kardashian is officially single, rumors about who she will date next are heating up. Many people on social media are speculating that Kim and CNN's Van Jones are dating. The two have been friends since 2018 and share an interest in criminal justice reform. Kim is currently doing her law apprenticeship with his Oakland-based law firm, but neither Kim or Van have confirmed they are a couple. Van split from his wife of 14 years in 2019. This would be an awesome couple. I think the world of Van Jones. Do you think that this is likely, Al?
Yeah.
Oh, you think you
have
believe
you seen
it?
her?
You believe it?
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody that has a partner or a spouse right now, at some point, you needed an in to go talk to them. If I remember correctly, Sam, your now husband, you worked with him. He said something to you, made you stop, and now you guys are married with 2 children. Jeff, you were on a television show with a contestant who you liked. You had a reason to start talking. You are now married with 2 children. There is a reason, Erica, that all of these things occurred, and it's because you need a reason to talk to this person that you like. And criminal justice reform, which I think a lot of people have in common with Van Jones, the only thing they don't have in common is that they are not Kim Kardashian. And that's why they are together. He needed that in, he saw it, and he went for it. God bless him.
Are you saying this was orchestrated?
I'm saying he was attracted to her and he needed a reason to talk to her.
You don't know.
I don't know that he was probably finding Kim Kardashian
this doesn't
attractive.
make any sense. No,
Yeah, you don't make sense.
First
This
of
doesn't make
all,
sense.
Please explain.
This makes no sense. First of all, I'm just going to be very clear. I love Van. I know that Van can be polarizing for people. Do I necessarily agree with every single statement that he's ever made in the history of ever? No, but I also don't agree with anybody that way. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He always returns my text messages with great advice. So, that being said, this man has dedicated so much of his life to criminal justice reform, representation, and making sure that we have adequate and voicing for people of color, people who are underrepresented populations. This is something that Kim Kardashian started to have an interest in. Would it make sense? I think it would make total sense. Do I hope that his career isn't ruined by this? I kind of do. Yes.
Oh, no.
How could your career be ruined?
Well,
But why
you
do
have
we
to look at the track record.
But why do we have to jump to them dating? Why can't he be her mentor? Does that not exist anymore? Can you be too? Why is everybody laughing?
Don't sleep with your mentor.
How do you know they're sleeping together?
I don't know. That's what we're talking about.
Why can't they have a platonic relationship?
But why are we talking about him and her? Out of all the billions of people on the planet, it's these 2, and it's because it seems like there's a little bit of smoke there. We would not be covering the story if we had nothing but like something somebody texted you last night. There must be something going on between these 2. They have a mutual common interest, which is what I was saying, Erica, and you just proved my point. They both have a common interest in social justice.
Well, I mean, my mama did text me. My mama did text me and ask me about it. And she doesn't text me and ask me about just anybody. Dr. Cobb was like, is Van Jones and Kim, did you hear? And I was like, Mom, seriously? This is what you're texting me about? Maybe.
It would be a great couple.
Does it bring Van, and I'm not trying to be mean here, does it bring his credibility down at all with the circus that is the Kardashians? I'm not being specific about Kim. I'm just saying with the circus that comes around that, does his credibility go down if he's saying something that's poignant and very educational and someone's like, well, you're dating Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? And it becomes that high school back and forth.
It's great if he can keep it separate. I don't want to see Van Jones on any of the reality
I think we're we're looking at Kim's relationships when she was younger, dating ball players. Kim has been very focused on legal issues. He is focused on legal issues. If they're pushing this agenda, when would anybody
What agenda?
Criminal justice reform.
Why can't he just be her mentor?
What is this? The Obi-Wan Kenobi you're obsessed with? You know, she doesn't need a mentor. What are you talking about?
First of all, I never worked with Mark. I was a waitress. He was a patron. So you got that wrong.
Oh, so you got me too'd. He me too'd you.
He me too'd?
Yes, you should not be. She should not be fraternizing with customers.
What?
Sam's fraternizing.
All right, let's get Al out of this segment.
No, Sam's a fraternizer. I'm going down. I'm dying on this hill.
I got your back, buddy. Let's move on.
Country singer Miranda Lambert got emotional during her first concert in more than a year. Miranda shared a video on TikTok of her first performance in front of a crowd since the pandemic. Have a look. makes me emotional.
What are you feeling right now?
We've lost so much in this past year. And of course, you know, the least that we've lost are concerts, right? The least that we lost, but we all miss that connectivity. We all miss being able to be with someone, hold your hands up in the air and just sway.
I mean, honestly, your joke, Sam, you're exactly right. It's like a religious experience. Like when you, I've always said, you know, and Jeff, you and I love sporting events. Going to the game, you can watch any game on TV, but when you go there and you start to hear the crowd as you're like not even in the arena yet, but just kind of walking up the concourse, and that feeling, there's a weird thing when a couple thousand people that are all like-minded get together, and you cannot explain it, but I feel like everybody felt it. Sam, you felt it all the way here. So
listen, I'm with you guys, and I can't wait to get back to concerts. But a little piece of her was like, oh, thank God I can pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get real. She's back. This is her job. This is her livelihood. This is her income. I'm sure she's got a big house and a big mortgage, and she's happy to pay it.
Erica, are you ready to go to concerts again? And what's going to be your first concert?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think I figured out that I might be a little bit more introverted than I let on pre-pandemic. So being in big group gatherings, and I think this is a reality for a lot of people, is causing me a little bit of anxiety. So I don't know that I'll go straight to concerts.
Yeah, I think I need some time as well, but I can't wait for when that time does come.
They just said we don't have to wear masks outside. We're good to go.
No, you don't want to be, well, then you better be 6 feet apart.
Don't boss me. I'm going.
Yeah, fraternizer.
Okay, we showed you the new trailer for the new West Side Story movie on the show yesterday. Rachel Zegler, who scored the lead role of Maria in Steven Spielberg's reboot of the 1961 classic, also recently watched it for the first time. Here's how she reacted to seeing herself on screen. Have a look.
Yeah!
Oh my God! I'm in a movie!
Wow, Rachel got the role after being one of the thousands of people who auditioned through an open casting call on Twitter. She was only 16 at the time, but managed to impress the one and only Spielberg. This is Rachel's first major movie role after getting her start in local theater. Oh, all the feels, Erica. All the feels.
Yeah. Like, what do I say about that? I'll let you know exactly what that feeling feels like when I'm cast in a Steven Spielberg film, Sam. You'll be my first call.
I wish they did a documentary of her, like, showing up on set, like, day one, because I read somewhere it was out of 30,000 people, right? And then you catch Steven Spielberg's eye. I don't know. That's what I read, Sam.
I know. I'm saying it's probably more.
No, that's exactly the number I read. But what I was trying to say was, imagine showing up on set and having all that captured, right? Steven Spielberg's there. You have to deliver your first line. The first day of our show here, I still get nervous when I audition.
Terrified.
Right? When the first day, when like 3, 2, counting us in, I was like, you know that, you're like, just get out your first word.
Totally.
Imagine showing up on set. You haven't had a job. You're in one of the most famous movies of all time remake, and Steven Spielberg's directing you.
Behind the camera.
How cool would that be to have that moment on film? I love that.
It's you know, and I was going to ask you guys if you guys remember the first kind of big thing that you booked, because I remember when I booked my half-hour special, and this is kind of pre-social media, and getting on TV wasn't that easy. And I remember I got the call from the executives, and they were like, "What are you doing on the 16th of October?" And I told them, they were like, "Do you want to shoot your half hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then as it hit me over the course, like I rushed and got them off the phone, and no one was. I was at my mom's house, and I hung up the phone, and I started crying, and no one was in the house. And I went and found a bottle of champagne in the refrigerator and drank it sitting on the floor. Like, I thought about all the gigs that I had done to get there. So I'm sure you guys have those similar moments. It's like your whole career kind of coming, and she's 16. Where's she gonna go?
Mine was weird because mine was on the Dr. Drew show, and I'm pointing over here because our senior executive producer was the executive producer of that show, and I was so ready. I was so excited, and then I got the subject matter, and it was about a rapper named Little Poopy. And I was like, wait, what am I going to say about Little Poopy?
Dreams come true.
Yeah, that's a true story. How much time do we have left?
We got like 30 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds? 10? Okay.
Well, we used to have 10.
Now we have none.
Who's Little Poopy?
That's the bigger question. No, he's not.
What was his hit song?
I don't remember, but I remember commenting on Little Poopy because
You couldn't even make up one?
What?
What would Little Poopy's hit song be?
I don't remember. This was like 10 years ago. I didn't get my big break yesterday.
Oh, I like that.
Zing.
Whoa.
Coming up.
Look at Erica's face.
Community rallies for a little boy battling cancer. We'll show you how they're making his life just a little bit brighter next in Heart Threads. And we couldn't put on a show without all of our coworkers who are working very hard at home during the pandemic. You guys are all appreciated. We'll be right back. Hey, Leo.
Closed captioning provided by...
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about joy. Watch this 5-year-old play outside for the first time since the pandemic started last year, reminding us all that it's simplest things that give us the most joy.
Volunteers built this boy with cancer a play set to distract from treatment.
I was born in 2015 and I'm 5.
Henry Edwards is fighting T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a type of pediatric leukemia. Since the diagnosis, Henry's parents have tried to make life normal.
We have been stuck inside for months, and he is, in this new chapter where we're not going to the hospital quite as much.
To up his spirits, volunteers from Rogers Builders and Rock Solid Foundation work together to construct a backyard playset for Henry and his brother. Rock Solid Foundation is known for raising hope for kids fighting with cancer.
And we get to see Play Defeat Cancer, because when that family comes around the corner and they see the play set for the first time, guess what they're not thinking about? Cancer, and we won.
Sarah Edwards, Henry's mom, said Henry's treatment is going well and looks forward to spending time on the play set this summer.
We have had so many days that haven't been great, and so having this to look forward to, and then just seeing the smile on his face when he saw it, and then when he started to get to play and everything. I mean, that's amazing.
Oh, that's what matters. We will be right back.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and it's time to start thinking about preparing your home for the season. So here's this week's DBL Home Hack presented by American Home Shield. High vac prep is so important. We're talking about the basics: heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Here are 3 signs your AC tune-up might be due. If your utility bills are going up, that means your unit is working overtime because something needs to be replaced. If you smell a bad odor in your house, that might point to a clogged line or mold buildup. And poor airflow could signify a clogged or dirty air filter. Tune-ups are important to keep your air conditioning unit running smoothly. When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowner insurance leaves out. Visit ahs.com to learn more and get a free quote today. Anybody having, why are you guys laughing?
I'm not.
Yes, you were.
No.
You don't think I have peripheral vision?
I do. First of all, if anybody, it was Jeff, and I was just gonna, I will throw my friend under the bus. I was going to say this. That's the first thing you learn when you're an adult, is like, you think it's not a big deal to worry about your AC until it goes out and you live in Miami like I did. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine, and it wasn't. And they're so busy, it might be a week, so make sure to handle that.
We were just talking. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it. Nothing.
Sam, if you knew how juvenile we were.
What did I say?
Yeah, we'll talk during the break.
It wasn't you.
No.
Oh. Okay. Out of time.
Things got weird.
Thank you very much. Things got very weird. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail: how Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, and this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
on DBL. A house of prayer, more like a house of horror.
They're willing to lay down and take beatings and whippings and starvations.
The sick truth behind a facility founded on faith. Tomorrow in True Crime Chronicles, only on DBL.
Ooh, okay, lots of comments about Elon Musk, you guys. Tony says the real question is, can Elon Musk act? Maybe.
That's what you tune in for.
Okay, tell that to the viewer, not me.
Who is it? What's his name?
Tony.
Tony.
Okay, Regina says, what are Elon Musk's credentials for being on there? He's not a singer. He's not an actor. He's not in entertainment at all. And then in regard to Kim K and Van Jones, Belinda says, if Van goes out with Kim, his stock would plummet. Yolanda says, I can totally see them together. Erica, get to the bottom of this for us.
I am not.
Okay. All right. I don't blame you.
You know, it's very hard to find a mentor in this industry, okay?
Yeah, you don't want to burn that bridge, girl. Yeah.
I think it'd be a good thing. He would instantly be one of the most famous men in the world dating her. How is that bad for your profile?
No, you don't want that. You know, he's already got a good thing going. I don't know if you want to get that circus around you, you know?
I guess. She's a different person.
Would you do it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, a quick goodbye to our co-workers who tuned in from home. We will see you all later, everyone. Erica, have a great day. We miss you, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Same time, same place.
What we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Are we on a path back to normal? How the new guidance from President Biden and the CDC will affect you. A cheerleader Snapchat rant leads to a free speech case in the Supreme Court. Should kids be held accountable for their language off campus? Caitlyn Jenner's running for governor, but is her own family not supporting her? Why you won't see the Kardashians on the campaign trail? And Miranda Lambert's emotional return to live music.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, April 27th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joining us from home. All right, let's get right to it, because how many of you are ready to get back to normal? We're almost
here
there.
For it.
The CDC just released new guidelines for the pandemic. They say vaccinated Americans can ditch masks outdoors in small groups, also when dining outside or biking and running. But the CDC says we should still wear masks and stay 6 feet apart in public spaces like concerts or sporting events. What do you think of these new guidelines, DBL Nation? We always want to hear from you. What do you make of this, Al?
First of all, can we just say I'm glad to be having this conversation?
I know.
Absolutely, man.
Rather than what are you going to do on Zoom for Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah.
This is the conversation we're having, so I'm here for this. And it kind of tracks, because if you think about sporting events, I don't know, we've been to sporting events, there's yelling. There's, little droplets are being expelled when you're singing along, especially a lot of people. So that tracks with me. So I'm here for it. Will everybody adhere to it? Probably not. But if half the people in there were half as safe, so I'm all for, not sacrificing the perfect for the good.
Yeah, we're moving forward, man. Way to keep it positive. We're moving forward with this. Yes, but I don't know how many people are going to adhere to this, right? By June, or was it the end of May, Joe Biden promised everyone who wants a vaccine.
July 4th. Oh, the vaccine.
Wants a vaccine can have a vaccine, right? So by now, people have made up their minds whether they want the vaccine or don't.
Yes.
They know the repercussions. If they don't want it, they know what's going to happen or don't know what's going to happen. That's on them. I think the rest of America needs to move forward. I think we need to start opening up sporting events. I think concerts outside need to be opened up. We need to start getting back to normal, because people are getting vaccinated. If you choose not to, you know the repercussions for that.
Erica, what do you make of this?
I think it's another card in our COVID bingo game, and I'm not trying to say that to be cavalier about it. I just think that it's another example of people who have opted to get vaccinated, people who have opted not to get vaccinated, people who are still waiting. We all have these cards that were dealt, and they look very, very different from one person to another. I do think it's important that if you are going to, regardless of what your decision is, that you're at least informed and the people around you are informed. But I think that this is a really great step in the right direction, and that's what it is.
Yep. And Erica, we have DBL Nation kind of echoing all of your sentiments. A lot of people just ready to get back to normal. But also I see a lot of people saying that they don't want us to take steps backwards.
Right.
So it's a delicate dance. All right, so there is a big free speech case headed to the Supreme Court, and believe it or not, it all centers around a cheerleader. So Brandy Levy didn't make varsity when she was 14 years old. She got upset, posted about it on her Snapchat. The snap included a number of lewd gestures and comments, including her middle finger, and a number of F words saying bleep school, bleep softball, bleep cheer, bleep everything. Her message posted outside of school grounds and also during the weekend got her in trouble with the team. They kicked her off the squad for a year, saying she violated the team's code of conduct. Her parents appealed, and now the case is headed to the Supreme Court. Here's what Brandy said about it recently on GMA.
I feel like when I signed this code of conduct, I didn't sign away my First Amendment rights. So I feel that I should be able to say what I want out of school hours. And if it's not during a school activity, I was not directing towards any coaches. I didn't have the school's name in it. I didn't have coach's name or any teammates' names in it.
So she's speaking to that code of conduct that at their school, you're not allowed to disparage any of your fellow cheerleaders. You're not allowed to disparage the coaches or the school. So there is, to her point, Al, there is a gray area here in the sense that she did not mention the specific notes that were mentioned in the contract that she signed.
Right, and I mean, let's unpack this a little bit, because this isn't just an easy, like, well, she shouldn't speak like that, or she has a right to speak like that. I think some of these rules are in place to prevent bullying. You know, for her to not go on and say something disparaging about a teammate that could snowball, and we've seen how that's ended up. But at the same time, if we go here, if we say that she deserves to be kicked off the team and the school is in the right, well, then that rule, does that now apply to every student? Does that apply to the coaches themselves? Are they allowed to curse in their off time?
Well, they're being paid.
Right, they're being paid as well, but so now we have two different rules. So now that's another thing that we need to unpack. And I think that when we start this, I don't think we know where it's going to end, Jeff, and that's the problem that I see with this. It wasn't like she was saying, I'm going to do something to the school, I'm going to do something to one of my coaches. That's a different situation. A student venting their frustrations that may not have the vocabulary to expound on their real feelings, I don't feel like it merited her being kicked off the team.
I do. I think she should be kicked off. She signed a code of conduct. Conduct yourself in a certain way, or else you will face the repercussions. People do not want to face repercussions in 2021, right? They want to do whatever they want and say whatever they want to say. I'm all for the First Amendment. I'm all for free speech. What she just said was her lawyer feeding her words. She doesn't know what she just said. I didn't say anything. I wasn't saying anything about any parents or discouraging any students. There's repercussions for your actions. She signed a code of conduct. I understand we work in a place, but if I badmouth you on my social media and my own time, that might be a freedom of speech, but that doesn't make for a great work environment. If you failed on your own merit, it doesn't give you the right to go and discourage everybody else in that school or that worked hard to make that team.
Erica?
Yeah, Jeff, when you fail on your own merit, is this really the argument that we want the First Amendment, the hill that we want the First Amendment to die on? She wasn't good enough to make varsity, and she threw a temper tantrum. And of course, we all are entitled to our temper tantrums, but there are varying degrees. And if you do something that causes you to stick out and embarrass your team, because everybody knows that when you are on a team and someone does something outlandish, it reflects poorly on the rest of your group. So not only was she not good enough to make varsity, she also she wasn't someone who the team clearly wanted to have them represent. So what are we talking about here?
I think it's more layered than that, because this school, it's not that she wasn't good enough to make varsity. She was apparently really good. It's just this school has a rule where you have to do a year of JV before you are varsity, even if you're the best freshman, even if you're the best student in the entire district, you have to do a year of JV before you can then be promoted to varsity.
What a silly rule.
Despite your athletic ability, right? So I don't know about that part. We can kind of table that. I do agree with Erica and Jeff in the sense that this is going to be a tough lesson for you that you're going to have to face for the rest of your life. To Jeff's point, if I were to say anything on this show or anything on my social media that disparages my fellow colleagues, there's going to be some stiff repercussions to that. So I think it's really good that our youth discover that early on. However, I don't think she should have been kicked off the squad given her talent for a year.
What?
I think that she should have been suspended. I think she should have been talked to. But I think a year, when it comes to athletics, can really affect someone's entire livelihood going into their future in other schools.
We got to move on, I know that. But Michael Jordan didn't make the basketball team his first year, right? He did not play his first year because he wasn't good enough. He made it through that and became the greatest in the world. What lessons are we teaching our kids when everybody gets a first place ribbon when you're in 10th place?
Well, I'm not saying she should get a first place ribbon, and I'm not saying that
she should be on the team when she would be the bad egg in the locker room.
I definitely think that she should have major repercussions and she should have been suspended. I'm with you there. I just don't know if that should boil down to a full year, because I know if you're not practicing for a full year, it can affect the rest of your trajectory. And I don't know if that one meltdown should equate to losing your entire future.
There's
However,
repercussions.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
this
I'm
is
saying.
cheerleading, and it's the equivalent of a redshirt freshman. I mean, she became that good how? If she was good enough to really make varsity and she had those skills, then she also has a private coach, or she's going to someplace outside of the school. Why not take that year and learn how to be on a team and also make your skills better so that when you are on varsity the next year, you are the shining star, as opposed to having this conversation 4 years later. That was a major waste of time.
We were also talking about a 14-year-old that's still a child mentally. Like, we got to factor that in.
But you have to learn at some point. That's what I'm saying. You have to. Oh, my
Can
biggest.
you still have the lesson learned without?
But you have to
giving up?
fail. You have to go
Of
through it
course
as a
you do.
human.
I'm
You have to
with
go
there.
through it.
Believe me, I look at my failures and I'm grateful for my failures. I just don't know if. Good conversation.
I could talk about it all day.
I know. I wish we could. Coming up, good conversation though, you guys. Coming up on DBL, Tesla CEO Elon Musk will host Saturday Night Live, but not every cast member is on board. Why he's causing all kinds of drama. Plus, has Kim Kardashian already moved on from Kanye West? Ooh, the political pundit she might be dating. And could Caitlyn Jenner really become California's first transgender governor? What her children are saying about her run, coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. If you only knew what we were discussing during the break. Okay, so is the world ready for Caitlyn Jenner to become governor of California, and can she pull it off? The 71-year-old former Olympic gold medalist, TV star, and now transgender activist announced she's running for governor and is reportedly working with former Trump aides. She's already got a bunch of merch for sale, including, there you see it, mugs, shirts, hats, bumper stickers, and wine glasses.
How long did it take to come up with that one? Did somebody get paid for that slogan?
Right, I know. Caitlyn for California. Very literal.
Wow.
Caitlyn is hoping to pull off what former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger did back in 2003 by winning in a recall election. But it seems like Caitlyn's family may not be too into the idea. For example, TMZ reports that the Jenner brothers, Brody, Brandon, and Bert, don't think she's qualified and strongly believe that she should not be running. Meantime, it also appears that the Kardashians will not be campaigning for Caitlyn either. That is according to TMZ. Wow. Erica, is this a good idea? Will California, do you think, go for Caitlyn? And what is she running on? Because we haven't heard that yet.
I don't know. First of all, I never say never because we've seen strange things happen. It's really up to the people of California, but it's alarming to me that we know more about her merch than about her platform at this point. So, hey.
And Erica, just to reiterate, it's Caitlyn for California, all right? Somebody got a check for that. I'll just say this. Look, I don't know who her base is. Who's her base?
Well, she's Republican.
No, I get that, but like the Republicans are not just some monolith.
Right.
I mean,
she didn't vote for Trump this last election, but she did the one before. So I think a lot of people are confused where she's at.
That's what I'm saying, Jeff. I'm like, okay, it's not like she's a diehard Trumper that's made it known this is my guy. She has said things that have alienated people in the transgender community, so she doesn't have their backing. She's not going to have the sisters' backing because they're saying it's not. She's not going to have the brothers' backing because they're saying she won't. So I don't know who's going to vote for her and what her platform is.
She's going off of popularity, name recognition.
Listen, a Republican in California seems crazy just to say out loud, doesn't it? Just no matter who's running for that at this point. But not having the Kardashian/Jenner crew at her back is going to be a major blow, because if you had them and all their promotion and all their social media, there's a good chance, right?
I am surprised. I get it with the older Kardashian girls, but I'm surprised because we've always seen Kylie and Kendall. I mean, that's their father, that's their mother, I should say, but we've always seen them gravitate towards her and support her no matter what.
Right.
So I'm a little surprised that Kendall and Kylie are not supporting her. But I'm over celebrities running.
Yeah.
I'm over it. Can we have
Matthew McConaughey tossing that around, The Rock's tossing it around. It's like we need some people that know what they're doing. And also, Republican, California's giving us Reagan and Schwarzenegger.
Not
Republican.
in 2021.
That's true. There's a lot of red in California.
Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us to break down the latest COVID headlines. We'll be right back.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to DBL. As we discussed earlier, the CDC has updated its mask guidelines for fully vaccinated people. So, of course, our own Dr. Payal Kohli joins us live to help make sense of it all. So, Dr. Kohli, we know that if we're outside and fully vaccinated, we can get rid of the mask altogether. But what about those who aren't fully vaccinated? And can you describe what this all means? We want to hear it from you.
So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, I am extremely conservative. And any advice that I give is always going to err on the side of being extremely cautious and keeping everybody as safe as possible, because I really want to keep DBL Nation safe. So let's talk about this. So fully vaccinated means that you're at least 2 weeks out from your final dose of the vaccination. We also know that the risk of transmission outdoors is very low. It's far, far, far lower than the risk of transmission indoors. But having said that, we also know that you can catch the virus even outdoors, and that even fully vaccinated people can catch the virus. So I really like to tell everybody, whether you're vaccinated or not, to try to follow that 2 out of 3 rule. So if you're outdoors and you're able to social distance, you can lose that mask. But if you come up to a crosswalk, for example, where there's lots of people huddled around, it takes one person to be sick and coughing and a few seconds for you to get exposed. So put that mask on if you're approaching other people or you're unable to social distance even outdoors.
Doc, you're always great, giving us great advice. I'm going to give you a little. That word conservative that you used, take it easy with that word. It's a little taboo. It's a little taboo.
Fair enough.
Don't check your mentions for about an hour.
I'm just joking with you, Doc. So, Doc,
should I think about running for governor as well? What do you guys think?
You get my vote.
For Dr. Coley, yes. Anything with Dr. Coley, you have my vote.
Yes. All right, back to business. If I'm going to a party, Dr. Coley, there's vaccinated people there, there's unvaccinated people there. What's Big Jeff to do?
So, Jeff, the way that you can keep yourself safest at the party is to be vaccinated yourself and to have a party outdoors. And if you're invited to a party like that, make sure that I get invited too, because I am fully vaccinated as of January. But if you're not vaccinated or the party is indoors, I would really urge caution. In fact, I would discourage you from going, because we're seeing that the variants have now really started attacking the younger people. So stay away from gatherings indoors where people are not vaccinated, you yourself are not vaccinated. But if you really want to get your life back to normal, the way to do that is to get that vaccine so you can start going to parties again.
All right, I don't even know if I know what to do at a party now.
Please.
Dr. Coley, they're saying that 8% of Americans, which is about 5 million people, have not gone for their second shot. If you had a chance to say anything to those people, what would you say?
You know, I would say that I understand that life comes up, barriers come up, people are fearful of the side effects, but really make it a priority, because the narrative that the first one is good enough, we're 80% protected after the first one, is really a false narrative, because what we don't know is how long that protection is going to last. It could go away in a few weeks. So really make sure that you increase the depth and the duration of your protection by going for that second shot. And that way you're good until the booster comes along and we can start having parties again. And Jeff is going to have the first one, apparently, right?
Yes, he's got the house floor. Come on, Jeff.
Wait.
Only if Al wears a one-piece jumper.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
That's a given.
Waste of breath.
Thank you so much, Dr. Coley. We appreciate you. We will be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail. How Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. And this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. You've got to check out this viral video. A man is seen hoverboarding down a city street past apartment buildings, restaurants, and even other cars. You guys, look at that. Turns out the man is really good with the $20,000 hoverboard. He's got a ton of these videos, although most don't show him doing it in the middle of the city. How cool is that, you guys? What?
Isn't that just a big, what do you call those things where you can guide?
Drone?
Drone, yeah. Isn't that a big drone?
Yeah.
It's a hoverboard.
It's not a hoverboard. It's a thing with fans on the bottom. It's
Hey,
not...
Erica, it's called a hoverboard.
Erica, are you impressed? I wanted a Marty McFly situation.
I think it's cool. I mean, what's not cool about it? I mean, I hope his insurance is, all together and updated.
You know who I immediately saw purchasing this, Erica? Anthony.
Who?
That's a good call.
You know who I immediately saw returning it? Erica.
Oh, that's too good.
That's true.
Is it an old man moment? Because I'm like, that could cause an accident in the streets?
Yes,
like if you looked at it?
Very old man.
If you're driving, you saw a man go flying by, you wouldn't turn your head?
And take a picture.
That causes an accident.
Yeah. Oh, Sam's defense, I'd take a picture while I was driving. Good one.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. Chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be part of our DBL Nation. But if you are sticking around, here is what's coming up. Kim Kardashian is a single woman, but is she already mingling with another man? We're going to tell you all about who it might be. Plus, country singer Miranda Lambert gets emotional at her first concert since the pandemic broke out. And thank you to our coworkers watching from home right now. We miss you guys. DBL is new every day. There's Megan. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam, here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. Okay, so some Saturday Night Live cast members don't seem too pleased that Elon Musk will be hosting the show next week. SNL announced that the SpaceX mogul will host the show on May 8th with musical guest Miley Cyrus. In the past, Elon has been outspoken on Twitter, saying he would not get the vaccine and compared stay-at-home orders to being under house arrest. He has since changed his tune and says he is now supportive of getting the vaccine. So still, some SNL cast members don't seem to be on board. After Elon tweeted, "Let's find out how live Saturday Night Live is," Bo and Yang posted, "What the bleep does that even mean?" And A.D. Bryant reposted a tweet from Bernie Sanders criticizing the world's billionaires. Elon is the third richest man in the world. Okay, so Jeff, you and I love SNL.
Yeah.
What do you think about Elon hosting, and what do you think about the reaction of some of the cast members?
And I'm a fan of Elon, and I could understand they could have a point here if they're like, if you're not vaccinated, it is mandatory that you do. If you shoot a movie, it's mandatory that you be tested at least every day. Now it's a different story, maybe vaccinated. So with that being said, he changed his views on that. Why are these guys going after a person that's going to bring eyeballs to your show? You could put anybody you want in that seat, and I'll welcome them to the show because it's going to bring eyeballs to our show, whether I agree with their political opinions or whatever it may be or not. I don't think this is a good move, because if you go on the street and say, who's Bo and Yang, who's A.D. Bryant, and who's Elon Musk, which one are you going to say? You're going to say Elon, right?
That's fact. You know what? When I saw this story, it just made me think about an ideology I have, and it sounds kind of harsh, and it doesn't apply to anybody at this table or anybody on Skype with us right now, but we are not friends. And I think that applies more often than not in a lot of people's lives. People have a lot of emotions when it comes to who's coming into your life. And a lot of times, unless they're your friends, if they're not causing an immediate threat to you or your family, let them do their job. And his job is to bring eyeballs to SNL, which we are talking about right now, which we would normally not be. So he's doing his job. I don't care how my exterminator feels about certain things. We are not friends. So I don't care. And they should neither.
You don't have to spend a week with your exterminator. I agree with the both of you, just to say that. But
Erica's making a face.
You have to spend a week with the people that come and guest host. They're with them 12-hour days every day for an entire week.
Yeah, I think that they are well within their rights to speak out about how they feel. In 20 years in media, there has been at least one example in any studio that I've worked in where someone has been asked to be a guest or has come into the studio that I did not agree with. I think you have to kind of figure out how far your disagreement goes, if it's something that doesn't align with your views, or are they actually actively trying to go for the oppression of you and people who look like you. So you have to understand that there's a spectrum here, but I think it's completely okay for the two SNL actors to have an opinion, and I think it's okay for Elon Musk to speak out about that opinion.
I think you're absolutely right, Erica. I'm excited. I like seeing a clash of opinions. I like to see how that plays out and how it works out. I think we need to see more of that. We do that here on this show. I think SNL should welcome it, and I think it would balance it a little bit. So, okay, now that Kim Kardashian is officially single, rumors about who she will date next are heating up. Many people on social media are speculating that Kim and CNN's Van Jones are dating. The two have been friends since 2018 and share an interest in criminal justice reform. Kim is currently doing her law apprenticeship with his Oakland-based law firm, but neither Kim or Van have confirmed they are a couple. Van split from his wife of 14 years in 2019. This would be an awesome couple. I think the world of Van Jones. Do you think that this is likely, Al?
Yeah.
Oh, you think you
have you seen her?
You believe it?
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody that has a partner or a spouse right now, at some point, You needed an in to go talk to them. If I remember correctly, Sam, your now husband, you worked with him. He said something to you, made you stop, and now you guys are married with 2 children. Jeff, you were on a television show with a contestant who you liked. You had a reason to start talking. You are now married with 2 children. There is a reason, Erica, that all of these things occurred, and it's because you need a reason to talk to this person that you like. And criminal justice reform, which I think a lot of people have in common with Van Jones, the only thing they don't have in common is that they are not Kim Kardashian. And that's why they are together. He needed that in, he saw it, and he went for it. God bless him.
Are you saying this was orchestrated?
I'm saying he was attracted to her and he needed a reason to talk to her.
You don't know.
I don't know that he was probably finding Kim Kardashian
this doesn't make
attractive.
any sense. No,
Yeah, you don't make sense.
First
This
of
doesn't
all,
make sense.
Please explain.
This makes no sense. First of all, I'm just going to be very clear. I love Van. I know that Van can be polarizing for people. Do I necessarily agree with every single statement that he's ever made in the history of ever? No, but I also don't agree with anybody that way. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He always returns my text messages with great advice. So, that being said, this man has dedicated so much of his life to criminal justice reform, representation, and making sure that we have adequate and voicing for people of color, people who are underrepresented populations. This is something that Kim Kardashian started to have an interest in. Would it make sense? I think it would make total sense. Do I hope that his career isn't ruined by this? I kind of do. Yes.
Oh, no. How could your career be ruined?
Well,
But why
you
do
have
we
to look at the track record.
But why do we have to jump to them dating? Why can't he be her mentor? Does that not exist anymore? Can you be too? Why is everybody laughing?
Don't sleep with your mentor.
How do you know they're sleeping together?
I don't know. That's what we're talking
about. Why can't they have a platonic relationship?
Well, why are we talking about him and her? Out of all the billions of people on the planet, it's these 2, and it's because it seems like there's a little bit of smoke there. We would not be covering the story if we had nothing but like something somebody texted you last night. There must be something going on between these 2. They have a mutual common interest, which is what I was saying, Erica, and you just proved my point. They both have a common interest in social justice.
Well, I mean, my mama did text me. My mama did text me and ask me about it. And she doesn't text me and ask me about just anybody. Dr. Cobb was like, is Van Jones and Kim, did you hear? And I was like, Mom, seriously? This is what you're texting me about? Maybe.
It would be a great couple.
Does it bring Van, and I'm not trying to be mean here, does it bring his credibility down at all with the circus that is the Kardashians? I'm not being specific about Kim. I'm just saying with the circus that comes around that, does his credibility go down if he's saying something that's poignant and very educational and someone's like, well, you're dating Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? And it becomes that high school back and forth.
It's great if he can keep it separate. I don't want to see Van Jones on any of the reality shows.
I think we're we're looking at Kim's relationships when she was younger, dating ball players. Kim has been very focused on legal issues. He is focused on legal issues. If they're pushing this agenda, when would anybody
What agenda?
Criminal justice reform.
Why can't he just be her mentor?
What is this? The Obi-Wan Kenobi you're obsessed with? You know, she doesn't need a mentor. What are you talking about?
First of all,
I never worked with Mark. I was a waitress. He was a patron. So you got that wrong.
Oh, so you got me too'd. He me too'd you.
He me too'd?
Yes, you should not be. She should not be fraternizing with customers.
What?
Sam's fraternizing.
All right, let's get Al out of this segment.
No, Sam's a fraternizer. I'm going down. I'm dying on this hill.
I got your back, buddy. Let's move on.
Country singer Miranda Lambert got emotional during her first concert in more than a year. Miranda shared a video on TikTok of her first performance in front of a crowd since the pandemic. Have a look. That makes me emotional.
What are you feeling right now?
We've lost so much in this past year. And of course, you know, the least that we've lost are concerts, right? The least that we lost, but we all miss that connectivity. We all miss being able to be with someone, hold your hands up in the air and just sway.
I mean, honestly, your joke, Sam, you're exactly right. It's like a religious experience. Like when you, I've always said, you know, and Jeff, you and I love sporting events. Going to the game, you can watch any game on TV, but when you go there and you start to hear the crowd as you're like not even in the arena yet, but just kind of walking up the concourse, and that feeling, there's a weird thing when a couple thousand people that are all like-minded get together, and you cannot explain it, but I feel like everybody felt it. Sam, you felt it all the way here. So
listen, I'm with you guys, and I can't wait to get back to concerts. But a little piece of her was like, oh, thank God I can pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get real. She's
Right.
back. This is her job. This is her livelihood. This is her income. I'm sure she's got a big house and a big mortgage, and she's happy to pay it.
Erica, are you ready to go to concerts again? And what's going to be your first concert?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think I figured out that I might be a little bit more introverted than I let on pre-pandemic. So being in big group gatherings, and I think this is a reality for a lot of people, is causing me a little bit of anxiety. So I don't know that I'll go straight to concerts.
Yeah, I think I need some time as well, but I can't wait for when that time does come.
They just said we don't have to wear masks outside. We're good to go.
No, you don't want to be, well, then you better be 6 feet apart.
Don't boss me. I'm going.
Yeah, fraternizer.
Okay, we showed you the new trailer for the new West Side Story movie on the show yesterday. Rachel Zegler, who scored the lead role of Maria in Steven Spielberg's reboot of the 1961 classic, also recently watched it for the first time. Here's how she reacted to seeing herself on screen. Have a look.
Yeah!
Oh my God! I'm in a movie!
Wow, Rachel got the role after being one of the thousands of people who auditioned through an open casting call on Twitter. She was only 16 at the time, but managed to impress the one and only Spielberg. This is Rachel's first major movie role after getting her start in local theater. Oh, all the feels, Erica. All the feels.
Yeah. Like, what do I say about that? I'll let you know exactly what that feeling feels like when I'm casting a Steven Spielberg film, Sam. You'll be my first call.
I wish they did a documentary of her like showing up on set like day one, because I read somewhere it was out of 30,000 people, right? And then you catch Steven Spielberg's eye. I don't know, that's what I read, Sam.
I know, I'm saying probably more.
No, that's exactly the number I read. But what I was trying to say was, imagine showing up on set and having all that captured, right? Steven Spielberg's there, you have to deliver your first line. The first day of our show here, I still get nervous when I audition.
Terrified.
Right? When the first day when like 3, 2, counting us in, I was like, you know that, you're like, just get out your first word.
Totally.
Imagine showing up on set. You haven't had a job. You're in one of the most famous movies of all time remake, and Steven Spielberg's directing you.
Behind the camera.
How cool would that be to have that moment on film? I love that.
It's you know, and I was going to ask you guys if you guys remember the first kind of big thing that you booked, because I remember when I booked my half-hour special, and this is kind of pre-social media, and getting on TV wasn't that easy. And I remember I got the call from the executives, and they were like, "What are you doing on the 16th of October?" And I told them, they were like, "Do you want to shoot your half hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then as it hit me over the course, like I rushed and got them off the phone, and no one was there. I was at my mom's house, and I hung up the phone, and I started crying, and no one was in the house. And I went and found a bottle of champagne in the refrigerator and drank it sitting on the floor. Like, I thought about all the gigs that I had done to get there. So I'm sure you guys have those similar moments. It's like your whole career kind of coming, and she's 16. Where's she gonna go?
Mine was weird because mine was on the Dr. Drew show, and I'm pointing over here because our senior executive producer was the executive producer of that show, and I was so ready. I was so excited, and then I got the subject matter, and it was about a rapper named Little Poopy. And I was like, wait, what am I going to say about Little Poopy?
Dreams come true.
Yeah, that's a true story. How much time do we have left?
We got like 30 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds? 10? Okay.
Well, we used to have 10.
Now we have none.
Who's Little Poopy?
That's the bigger question. No, he's not.
What was his hit song?
I don't remember, but I remember commenting on Little Poopy because
You couldn't even make up one?
What?
What would Little Poopy's hit song be?
I don't remember. This was like 10 years ago. I didn't get my big break yesterday.
Oh, I like that.
Zing.
Whoa.
Coming up.
Look at Erica's face.
Community rallies for a little boy battling cancer. We'll show you how they're making his life just a little bit brighter next in Heart Threads. And we couldn't put on a show without all of our coworkers who are working very hard at home during the pandemic. You guys are all appreciated. We'll be right back. Hey, Leo.
Closed captioning provided by
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about joy. Watch this 5-year-old play outside for the first time since the pandemic started last year, reminding us all that it's simplest things that give us the most joy.
Volunteers built this boy with cancer a play set to distract from treatment.
I was born in 2015 and I'm 5.
Henry Edwards is fighting T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a type of pediatric leukemia. Since the diagnosis, Henry's parents have tried to make life normal.
We have been stuck inside for months, and he is, in this new chapter where we're not going to the hospital quite as much.
To up his spirits, volunteers from Rogers Builders and Rock Solid Foundation work together to construct a backyard playset for Henry and his brother. Rock Solid Foundation is known for raising hope for kids fighting with cancer.
And we get to see Play Defeat Cancer, because when that family comes around the corner and they see the playset for the first time, guess what they're not thinking about? Cancer, and we won.
Sarah Edwards, Henry's mom, said Henry's treatment is going well and looks forward to spending time on the playset this summer.
We have had so many days that haven't been great, and so having this to look forward to, and then just seeing the smile on his face when he saw it, and then when he started to get to play and everything. I mean, that's amazing.
Oh, that's what matters. We will be right back.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and it's time to start thinking about preparing your home for the season. So here's this week's DBL Home Hack presented by American Home Shield. High vac prep is so important. We're talking about the basics: heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Here are 3 signs your AC tune-up might be due. If your utility bills are going up, that means your unit is working overtime because something needs to be replaced. If you smell a bad odor in your house, that might point to a clogged line or mold buildup. And poor airflow could signify a clogged or dirty air filter. Tune-ups are important to keep your air conditioning unit running smoothly. When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowner insurance leaves out. Visit ahs.com to learn more and get a free quote today. Anybody having, why are you guys laughing?
I'm not.
Yes, you were.
No.
You don't think I have peripheral vision?
I do. First of all, if anybody, it was Jeff, and I was just gonna, I will throw my friend under the bus. I was going to say this. That's the first thing you learn when you're an adult is like you think it's not a big deal to worry about your AC until it goes out and you live in Miami like I did. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine, and it wasn't. And they're so busy, it might be a week. So make sure to handle that.
We were just talking. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it. Nothing.
Sam, if you knew how juvenile we were.
What did I say?
Yeah, we'll talk during the break.
It wasn't you.
No.
Oh. Okay. Out of time.
Things got weird.
Thank you very much. Things got very weird. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verified team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail. How Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. And this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plan plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
DBL, a house of prayer, more like a house of horror.
They're willing to lay down and take beatings and whippings and starvations.
The sick truth behind a facility founded on faith. Tomorrow in True Crime Chronicles, only on DBL.
Ooh, okay, lots of comments about Elon Musk, you guys. Tony says the real question is, can Elon Musk act? Maybe.
That's what you tune in for.
Okay, tell that to the viewer, not me.
Who is it? What's his name?
Tony.
Tony.
Okay, Regina says, what are Elon Musk's credentials for being on there? He's not a singer. He's not an actor. He's not in entertainment at all. And then in regard to Kim K and Van Jones, Belinda says, if Van goes out with Kim, his stock would plummet. Yolanda says, I can totally see them together. Erica, get to the bottom of this for us.
I am not.
Okay. All right. I don't blame you.
You know, it's very hard to find a mentor in this industry, okay?
Yeah, you don't want to burn that bridge, girl. Yeah.
I think it'd be a good thing. He would instantly be one of the most famous men in the world dating her. How is that bad for your profile?
No, you don't want that. You know, he's already got a good thing going. I don't know if you want to get that circus around you, you know?
I guess. She's a different person.
Would you do it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, a quick goodbye to our co-workers who tuned in from home. We will see you all later, everyone. Erica, have a great day. We miss you, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Same time, same place.
you.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
Are we on a path back to normal? How the new guidance from President Biden and the CDC will affect you. A cheerleader Snapchat rant leads to a free speech case in the Supreme Court. Should kids be held accountable for their language off campus? Caitlyn Jenner's running for governor, but is her own family not supporting her? While you won't see the Kardashians on the campaign trail. And Miranda Lambert's emotional return to live music.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Tuesday, April 27th. I'm Sam here with Jeff and Al. Erica joining us from home. All right, let's get right to it, because how many of you are ready to get back to normal? We're almost
Here
there.
for it.
The CDC just released new guidelines for the pandemic. They say vaccinated Americans can ditch masks outdoors in small groups, also when dining outside or biking and running. But the CDC says we should still wear masks and stay 6 feet apart in public spaces like concerts or sporting events. What do you think of these new guidelines, DBL Nation? We always want to hear from you. What do you make of this, Al?
First of all, can we just say I'm glad to be having this conversation?
I know.
Absolutely, man.
Rather than what are you going to do on Zoom for Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah.
This is the conversation we're having, so I'm here for this. And it kind of tracks, because if you think about sporting events, I don't know, we've been to sporting events, there's yelling. There's, little droplets are being expelled when you're singing along, especially a lot of people. So that tracks with me. So I'm here for it. Will everybody adhere to it? Probably not. But if half the people in there were half as safe, so I'm all for, not sacrificing the perfect for the good.
Yeah, we're moving forward, man. Way to keep it positive. We're moving forward with this. Yes, but I don't know how many people are going to adhere to this, right? By June, or was it the end of May, Joe Biden promised everyone who wants a vaccine.
July 4th. Oh, the vaccine.
Wants a vaccine could have a vaccine, right? So by now, people have made up their minds whether they want the vaccine or don't.
Yes.
They know the repercussions. If they don't want it, they know what's going to happen or don't know what's going to happen. That's on them. I think the rest of America needs to move forward. I think we need to start opening up sporting events. I think concerts outside need to be opened up. We need to start getting back to normal, because people are getting vaccinated. If you choose not to, you know the repercussions for that.
Erica, what do you make of this?
I think it's another card in our COVID bingo game, and I'm not trying to say that to be cavalier about it. I just think that it's another example of people who have opted to get vaccinated, people who have opted not to get vaccinated, people who are still waiting. We all have these cards that were dealt, and they look very, very different from one person to another. I do think it's important that if you are going to, regardless of what your decision is, that you're at least informed and the people around you are informed. But I think that this is a really great step in the right direction, and that's what it is.
Yep. And Erica, we have DBL Nation kind of echoing all of your sentiments. A lot of people just ready to get back to normal. But also I see a lot of people saying that they don't want us to take steps backwards.
Right.
So it's a delicate dance. All right, so there is a big free speech case headed to the Supreme Court, and believe it or not, it all centers around a cheerleader. So Brandy Levy didn't make varsity when she was 14 years old. She got upset, posted about it on her Snapchat. The snap included a number of lewd gestures and comments, including her middle finger, and a number of F words saying bleep school, bleep softball, bleep cheer, bleep everything. Her message posted outside of school grounds and also during the weekend got her in trouble with the team. They kicked her off the squad for a year, saying she violated the team's code of conduct. Her parents appealed, and now the case is headed to the Supreme Court. Here's what Brandy said about it recently on GMA.
I feel like when I signed this code of conduct, I didn't sign away my First Amendment rights. So I feel that I should be able to say what I want out of school hours. And if it's not during a school activity, I was not directing towards any coaches. I didn't have the school's name in it. I didn't have coach's name or any teammates' names in it.
So she's speaking to that code of conduct at their school. You're not allowed to disparage any of your fellow cheerleaders. You're not allowed to disparage the coaches or the school. So there is, to her point, Al, there is a gray area here in the sense that she did not mention the specific notes that were mentioned in the contract that she signed.
Right, and I mean, let's unpack this a little bit, because this isn't just an easy, like, well, she shouldn't speak like that, or she has a right to speak like that. I think some of these rules are in place to prevent bullying. You know, for her to not go on and say something disparaging about a teammate that could snowball, and we've seen how that's ended up. But at the same time, if we go here, if we say that she deserves to be kicked off the team and the school is in the right, well, then that rule, does that now apply to every student? Does that apply to the coaches themselves? Are they allowed to curse in their off time?
Well, they're being paid.
Right, they're being paid as well, but so now we have two different rules. So now that's another thing that we need to unpack, and I think that when we start this, I don't think we know where it's going to end, Jeff, and that's the problem that I see with this. It wasn't like she was saying, I'm going to do something to the school, I'm going to do something to one of my coaches. That's a different situation. A student venting their frustrations that may not have the vocabulary to expound on their real feelings, I don't feel like it merited her being kicked off the team.
I do. I think she should be kicked off. She signed a code of conduct. Conduct yourself in a certain way, or else you will face the repercussions. People do not want to face repercussions in 2021, right? They want to do whatever they want and say whatever they want to say. I'm all for the First Amendment. I'm all for free speech. What she just said was her lawyer feeding her words. She doesn't know what she just said. I didn't say anything. I wasn't saying anything about any parents or discouraging any students. There's repercussions for your actions. She signed a code of conduct. I understand we work in a place, but if I badmouth you on my social media and my own time, that might be a freedom of speech, but that doesn't make for a great work environment. If you failed on your own merit, it doesn't give you the right to go and discourage everybody else in that school or that worked hard to make that team.
Erica?
Yeah, Jeff, when you fail on your own merit, is this really the argument that we want the First Amendment, the hill that we want the First Amendment to die on? She wasn't good enough to make varsity, and she threw a temper tantrum. And of course, we all are entitled to our temper tantrums, but there are varying degrees. And if you do something that causes you to stick out and embarrass your team, because everybody knows that when you are on a team and someone does something outlandish, it reflects poorly on the rest of your group. So not only was she not good enough to make varsity, she also she wasn't someone who the team clearly wanted to have them represent. So what are we talking about here?
I think it's more layered than that, because this school, it's not that she wasn't good enough to make varsity. She was apparently really good. It's just this school has a rule where you have to do a year of JV before you are varsity, even if you're the best freshman, even if you're the best student in the entire district, you have to do a year of JV before you can then be promoted to varsity.
What a silly rule.
Despite your athletic ability, right? So I don't know about that part. We can kind of table that. I do agree with Erica and Jeff in the sense that this is going to be a tough lesson for you that you're going to have to face for the rest of your life. To Jeff's point, if I were to say anything on this show or anything on my social media that disparages my fellow colleagues, there's going to be some stiff repercussions to that. So I think it's really good that our youth discover that early on. However, I don't think she should have been kicked off the squad given her talent for a year. I think that she should have been suspended. I think she should have been talked to. But I think a year, when it comes to athletics, can really affect someone's entire livelihood going into their future in other schools.
We got to move on, I know that. But Michael Jordan didn't make the basketball team his first year, right? He did not play his first year because he wasn't good enough. He made it through that and became the greatest in the world. What lessons are we teaching our kids when everybody gets a first place ribbon when you're in 10th place?
Well, I'm not saying she should get a first place ribbon, and I'm not saying that
you're saying she should be on the team when she would be the bad egg in the locker room.
I definitely think that she should have major repercussions and she should have been suspended. I'm with you there. I just don't know if that should boil down to a full year, because I know if you're not practicing for a full year, it can affect the rest of your trajectory. And I don't know if that one meltdown should equate to losing your entire future.
There's repercussions.
Yeah,
That's
but
all
this
I'm
is
saying.
cheerleading, and it's the equivalent of a redshirt freshman. I mean, she became that good how? if she was good enough to really make varsity and she had those skills, then she also has a private coach, or she's going to someplace outside of the school. Why not take that year and learn how to be on a team and also make your skills better so that when you are on varsity the next year, you are the shining star, as opposed to having this conversation 4 years later. That was a major waste of time.
We were also talking about a 14-year-old that's still a child mentally. Like, we got to factor that in.
But you have to learn at some point. That's what I'm saying. You have to. Oh, my biggest.
You still have the lesson learned without.
But you have to fail. You have to go through it as a human. You have to go through it.
Believe me, I look at my failures and I'm grateful for my failures. I just don't know if. Good conversation.
I could talk about it all day. I know.
I wish we could. Coming up, good conversation though, you guys. Coming up on DBL, Tesla CEO Elon Musk will host Saturday Night Live, but not every cast member is on board. Why he's causing all kinds of drama. Plus, has Kim Kardashian already moved on from Kanye West? Ooh, the political pundit she might be dating. And could Caitlyn Jenner really become California's first transgender governor? What her children are saying about her run, coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. If you only knew what we were discussing during the break. Okay, so is the world ready for Caitlyn Jenner to become governor of California, and can she pull it off? The 71-year-old former Olympic gold medalist, TV star, and now transgender activist announced she's running for governor and is reportedly working with former Trump aides. She's already got a bunch of merch for sale, including, there you see it, mugs, shirts, hats, bumper stickers, and wine glasses.
How long did it take to come up with that one? Did somebody get paid for that slogan?
Right, I know. Caitlyn for California. Very literal.
Wow.
Caitlyn is hoping to pull off what former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger did back in 2003 by winning in a recall election. But it seems like Caitlyn's family may not be too into the idea. For example, TMZ reports that the Jenner brothers, Brody, Brandon, and Bert, don't think she's qualified and strongly believe that she should not be running. Meantime, it also appears that the Kardashians will not be campaigning for Caitlyn either. That is according to TMZ. Wow. Erica, is this a good idea? Will California, do you think, go for Caitlyn? And what is she running on? Because we haven't heard that yet.
I don't know. First of all, I never say never because we've seen strange things happen. It's really up to the people of California, but it's alarming to me that we know more about her merch than about her platform at this point. So, hey.
And Erica, just to reiterate, it's Caitlyn for California, all right? Somebody got to check for that. I'll just say this. Look, I don't know who her base is. Who's her base?
Well, she's Republican.
No, I get that, but like the Republicans are not just some monolith.
Right.
I mean,
she didn't vote for Trump this last election, but she did the one before. So I think a lot of people are confused where she's
that's what I'm saying, Jeff. I'm like, okay, it's not like she's a diehard Trumper that's made it known this is my guy. She has said things that have alienated people in the transgender community, so she doesn't have their backing. She's not going to have the sisters' backing because they're saying it's not. She's not going to have the brothers' backing because they're saying she won't. So I don't know who's going to vote for her and what her platform is.
She's going off of popularity, name recognition.
Listen, a Republican in California seems crazy just to say out loud, doesn't it? Just no matter who's running for that at this point. But not having the Kardashian/Jenner crew at her back is going to be a major blow, because if you had them and all their promotion and all their social media, there's a good chance, right?
I am surprised. I get it with the older Kardashian girls, but I'm surprised because we've always seen Kylie and Kendall. I mean, that's their father, that's their mother, I should say, but we've always seen them gravitate towards her and support her no matter what.
Right.
So I'm a little surprised that Kendall and Kylie are not supporting her. But I'm over celebrities running.
Yeah.
I'm over it. Can we have
Matthew McConaughey tossing that around, The Rock's tossing it around. It's like, we need some people that know what they're doing. And also, Republican, California's giving us Reagan and Schwarzenegger.
Not in 2021.
That's true. There's a lot of red in California.
Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joins us to break down the latest COVID headlines. We'll be right back.
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to DBL. As we discussed earlier, the CDC has updated its mask guidelines for fully vaccinated people. So, of course, our own Dr. Payal Kohli joins us live to help make sense of it all. So, Dr. Kohli, we know that if we're outside and fully vaccinated, we can get rid of the mask altogether. But what about those who aren't fully vaccinated? And can you describe what this all means? We want to hear it from you.
So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, I am extremely conservative. And any advice that I give is always going to err on the side of being extremely cautious and keeping everybody as safe as possible, because I really want to keep DBL Nation safe. So let's talk about this. So fully vaccinated means that you're at least 2 weeks out from your final dose of the vaccination. We also know that the risk of transmission outdoors is very low. It's far, far, far lower than the risk of transmission indoors. But having said that, we also know that you can catch the virus even outdoors, and that even fully vaccinated people can catch the virus. So I really like to tell everybody, whether you're vaccinated or not, to try to follow that 2 out of 3 rule. So if you're outdoors and you're able to social distance, you can lose that mask. But if you come up to a crosswalk, for example, where there's lots of people huddled around, it takes one person to be sick and coughing and a few seconds for you to get exposed. So put that mask on if you're approaching other people or you're unable to social distance even outdoors.
Doc, you're always great, giving us great advice. I'm going to give you a little. That word conservative that you used, take it easy with that word. It's a little taboo. It's a little taboo.
Fair enough.
Don't check your mentions for about an hour.
I'm just joking with you, Doc. So, Doc,
should I think about running for governor as well? What do you guys think?
You get my vote.
For Dr. Coley, yes. Anything with Dr. Coley, you have my vote.
Yes. All right, back to business. If I'm going to a party, Dr. Coley, there's vaccinated people there, there's unvaccinated people there. What's Big Jeff to do?
So, Jeff, the way that you can keep yourself safest at the party is to be vaccinated yourself and to have a party outdoors. And if you're invited to a party like that, make sure that I get invited too, because I am fully vaccinated as of January. But if you're not vaccinated or the party is indoors, I would really urge caution. In fact, I would discourage you from going, because we're seeing that the variants have now really started attacking the younger people. So stay away from gatherings indoors where people are not vaccinated, you yourself are not vaccinated. But if you really want to get your life back to normal, the way to do that is to get that vaccine so you can start going to parties again.
All right, I don't even know if I know what to do at a party now.
Please.
Dr. Coley, they're saying that 8% of Americans, which is about 5 million people, have not gone for their second shot. If you had a chance to say anything to those people, what would you say?
You know, I would say that I understand that life comes up, barriers come up, people are fearful of the side effects, but really make it a priority, because the narrative that the first one is good enough, we're 80% protected after the first one, is really a false narrative, because what we don't know is how long that protection is going to last. It could go away in a few weeks. So really make sure that you increase the depth and the duration of your protection by going for that second shot. And that way you're good until the booster comes along and we can start having parties again. And Jeff is going to have the first one, apparently, right?
Yes, he's got the house for it. Come on, Jeff.
Wait.
Only if Al wears a one-piece jumper.
Oh,
oh, yeah, of course.
That's a given.
Waste of breath.
Thank you so much, Dr. Coley. We appreciate you. We will be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail. How Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. And this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. You've got to check out this viral video. A man is seen hoverboarding down a city street past apartment buildings, restaurants, and even other cars. You guys, look at that. Turns out the man is really good with the $20,000 hoverboard. He's got a ton of these videos, although most don't show him doing it in the middle of the city. How cool is that, you guys? What?
Isn't that just a big, what do you call those things where you can guide?
Drone?
Drone, yeah. Isn't that a big drone?
Yeah.
It's a hoverboard.
It's not a hoverboard. It's a thing with fans on the bottom. It's
Hey,
not...
Erica, it's called a hoverboard.
Erica, are you impressed? I wanted a Marty McFly situation.
I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's not cool about it? I mean, I hope his insurance is, all together and updated.
You know who I immediately saw purchasing this, Erica? Anthony.
Who?
That's a good call.
You know who I
doing it.
immediately saw returning it? Erica.
Oh, that's too good.
That's true.
Is it an old man moment? Because I'm like, that could cause an accident in the streets.
Yes,
like if you looked at it.
Very old man.
If you're driving, you saw a man go flying by, you wouldn't turn your head.
And take a picture.
That causes an accident.
Yeah. Oh, Sam's defense, I'd take a picture while I was driving. Good one.
If you're leaving us, you can watch the second half of the show on Facebook or YouTube. Chat with other viewers, leave your comments, and be part of our DBL Nation. But if you are sticking around, here is what's coming up. Kim Kardashian is a single woman, but is she already mingling with another man? We're going to tell you all about who it might be. Plus, country singer Miranda Lambert gets emotional at her first concert since the pandemic broke out. And thank you to our coworkers watching from home right now. We miss you guys. DBL is new every day. There's Megan. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam, here with Jeff and Al. Erica joins us from home. Okay, so some Saturday Night Live cast members don't seem too pleased that Elon Musk will be hosting the show next week. SNL announced that the SpaceX mogul will host the show on May 8th with musical guest Miley Cyrus. In the past, Elon has been outspoken on Twitter, saying he would not get the vaccine and compared stay-at-home orders to being under house arrest. He has since changed his tune and says he is now supportive of getting the vaccine. So still, some SNL cast members don't seem to be on board. After Elon tweeted, "Let's find out how live Saturday Night Live is," Bo and Yang posted, "What the bleep does that even mean?" And A.D. Bryant reposted a tweet from Bernie Sanders criticizing the world's billionaires. Elon is the third richest man in the world. Okay, so Jeff, you and I love SNL.
Yeah.
What do you think about Elon hosting, and what do you think about the reaction of some of the cast members?
And I'm a fan of Elon, and I could understand they could have a point here if they're like, if you're not vaccinated, it is mandatory that you do. If you shoot a movie, it's mandatory that you be tested at least every day. Now it's a different story, maybe vaccinated. So with that being said, he changed his views on that. Why are these guys going after a person that's going to bring eyeballs to your show? You could put anybody you want in that seat, and I'll welcome them to the show because it's going to bring eyeballs to our show, whether I agree with their political opinions or whatever it may be or not. I don't think this is a good move, because if you go on the street and say, who's Bo and Yang, who's A.D. Bryant, and who's Elon Musk, which one are you going to say? You're going to say Elon, right?
That's fact. You know what? When I saw this story, it just made me think about an ideology I have, and it sounds kind of harsh, and it doesn't apply to anybody at this table or anybody on Skype with us right now, but we are not friends. And I think that applies more often than not in a lot of people's lives. People have a lot of emotions when it comes to who's coming into your life. And a lot of times, unless they're your friends, if they're not causing an immediate threat to you or your family, let them do their job. And his job is to bring eyeballs to SNL, which we are talking about right now, which we would normally not be. So he's doing his job. I don't care how my exterminator feels about certain things. We are not friends. So I don't care, and they should neither. You don't have to spend a
week with your exterminator. They have. I agree with the both of you, just to say that. But
Erica's making a face.
You have to spend a week with the people that come and guest host. They're with them 12-hour days every day for an entire week.
Yeah, I think that they are well within their rights to speak out about how they feel. In 20 years in media, there has been at least one example in any studio that I've worked in where someone has been asked to be a guest or has come into the studio that I did not agree with. I think you have to kind of figure out how far your disagreement goes, if it's something that doesn't align with your views, or are they actually actively trying to go for the oppression of you and people who look like you. So you have to understand that there's a spectrum here, but I think it's completely okay for the two SNL actors to have an opinion, and I think it's okay for Elon Musk to speak out about that opinion.
I think you're absolutely right, Erica. I'm excited. I like seeing a clash of opinions. I like to see how that plays out and how it works out. I think we need to see more of that. We do that here on this show. I think SNL should welcome it, and I think it would balance it a little bit. So, okay, now that Kim Kardashian is officially single, rumors about who she will date next are heating up. Many people on social media are speculating that Kim and CNN's Van Jones are dating. The two have been friends since 2018 and share an interest in criminal justice reform. Kim is currently doing her law apprenticeship with his Oakland-based law firm, but neither Kim or Van have confirmed they are a couple. Van split from his wife of 14 years in 2019. This would be an awesome couple. I think the world of Van Jones. Do you think that this is likely, Al?
Yeah.
Oh, you think you
have you seen her?
You believe it?
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody that has a partner or a spouse right now, at some point, You needed an in to go talk to them. If I remember correctly, Sam, your now husband, you worked with him. He said something to you, made you stop, and now you guys are married with 2 children. Jeff, you were on a television show with a contestant who you liked. You had a reason to start talking. You are now married with 2 children. There is a reason, Erica, that all of these things occurred, and it's because you need a reason to talk to this person that you like. And criminal justice reform, which I think a lot of people have in common with Van Jones, the only thing they don't have in common is that they are not Kim Kardashian. And that's why they are together. He needed that in, he saw it, and he went for it. God bless him.
Are you saying this was orchestrated?
I'm saying he was attracted to her and he needed a reason to talk to her.
You don't know.
I don't know that he was probably finding Kim Kardashian
This doesn't make
attractive.
any sense. No,
Yeah, you don't make sense.
First
This
of
doesn't make
all,
sense.
Please explain.
This makes no sense. First of all, I'm just going to be very clear. I love Van. I know that Van can be polarizing for people. Do I necessarily agree with every single statement that he's ever made in the history of ever? No, but I also don't agree with anybody that way. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He always returns my text messages with great advice. So, that being said, this man has dedicated so much of his life to criminal justice reform, representation, and making sure that we have adequate and voicing for people of color, people who are underrepresented populations. This is something that Kim Kardashian started to have an interest in. Would it make sense? I think it would make total sense. Do I hope that his career isn't ruined by this? I kind of do. Yes.
Oh, no. How could your career be ruined?
Well, I mean,
why
you
do we
have to look at the track record.
But why do we have to jump to them dating? Why can't he be her mentor? Does that not exist anymore? Can you be too? Why is everybody laughing?
Don't sleep with your mentor.
How do you know they're sleeping together?
I don't know. That's what we're talking about.
Why can't they have a platonic relationship?
Well, why are we talking about him and her? Out of all the billions of people on the planet, it's these 2, and it's because it seems like there's a little bit of smoke there. We would not be covering the story if we had nothing but like something somebody texted you last night. There must be something going on between these 2. They have a mutual common interest, which is what I was saying, Erica, and you just proved my point. They both have a common interest in social justice.
Well, I mean, my mama did text me. My mama did text me and ask me about it. And she doesn't text me and ask me about just anybody. Dr. Cobb was like, is Van Jones and Kim, did you hear? And I was like, Mom, seriously? This is what you're texting me about? Maybe.
It would be a great couple.
Does it bring Van, and I'm not trying to be mean here, does it bring his credibility down at all with the circus that is the Kardashians? I'm not being specific about Kim. I'm just saying with the circus that comes around that, does his credibility go down if he's saying something that's poignant and very educational and someone's like, well, you're dating Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? And it becomes that high school back and forth.
It's great if he can keep it separate. I don't want to see Van Jones on any of the reality
shows. I think we're we're looking at Kim's relationships when she was younger, dating ball players. Kim has been very focused on legal issues. He is focused on legal issues. If they're pushing this agenda, when would anybody
What agenda?
Criminal justice reform.
Why can't he just be her mentor?
What is this? The Obi-Wan Kenobi you're obsessed with? You know, she doesn't need a mentor. What are you talking about?
First of all,
I never worked with Mark. I was a waitress. He was a patron. So you got that wrong.
Oh, so you got me too'd. He me too'd you.
He me too'd?
Yes, you should not be. She should not be fraternizing with customers.
What?
Sam's fraternizing.
All right, let's get Al out of this thing.
No, Sam's a fraternizer. I'm going down. I'm dying on this hill.
I got your back, buddy. Let's move on.
Country singer Miranda Lambert got emotional during her first concert in more than a year. Miranda shared a video on TikTok of her first performance in front of a crowd since the pandemic. Have a look. That makes me emotional.
What are you feeling right now?
We've lost so much in this past year. And of course, you know, the least that we've lost are concerts, right? The least that we lost, but we all miss that connectivity. We all miss being able to be with someone, hold your hands up in the air and just sway.
I mean, honestly, your joke, Sam, you're exactly right. It's like a religious experience. Like when you, I've always said, you know, and Jeff, you and I love sporting events. Going to the game, you can watch any game on TV, but when you go there and you start to hear the crowd as you're like not even in the arena yet, but just kind of walking up the concourse, and that feeling, there's a weird thing when a couple thousand people that are all like-minded get together, and you cannot explain it, but I feel like everybody felt it. Sam, you felt it all the way here. So
listen, I'm with you guys, and I can't wait to get back to concerts. But a little piece of her was like, oh, thank God I can pay my mortgage.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get real. She's
Right.
back. This is her job. This is her livelihood. This is her income. I'm sure she's got a big house and a big mortgage, and she's happy to pay it.
Erica, are you ready to go to concerts again? And what's going to be your first concert?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think I figured out that I might be a little bit more introverted than I let on pre-pandemic. So being in big group gatherings, and I think this is a reality for a lot of people, is causing me a little bit of anxiety. So I don't know that I'll go straight to concerts.
Yeah, I think I need some time as well, but I can't wait for when that time does come.
They just said we don't have to wear masks outside. We're good to go.
No, you don't want to be, well, then you better be 6 feet apart.
Don't boss me. I'm going.
Yeah, fraternizer.
Okay, we showed you the new trailer for the new West Side Story movie on the show yesterday. Rachel Zegler, who scored the lead role of Maria in Steven Spielberg's reboot of the 1961 classic, also recently watched it for the first time. Here's how she reacted to seeing herself on screen. Have a look.
Yeah!
Oh my God! I'm in a movie!
Wow, Rachel got the role after being one of the thousands of people who auditioned through an open casting call on Twitter. She was only 16 at the time, but managed to impress the one and only Spielberg. This is Rachel's first major movie role after getting her start in local theater. Oh, all the feels, Erica. All the feels.
Yeah. I'm like, what do I say about that? I'll let you know exactly what that feeling feels like when I'm cast in a Steven Spielberg film, Sam. You'll be my first call.
I wish they did a documentary of her like showing up on set like day one, because I read somewhere it was out of 30,000 people, right? And then you catch Steven Spielberg's eye. I don't know, that's what I read, Sam.
I know, I'm saying probably more.
No, that's exactly the number I read. But what I was trying to say was, imagine showing up on set and having all that captured, right? Steven Spielberg's there, you have to deliver your first line. The first day of our show here, I still get nervous when I audition.
Terrified.
Right? When the first day when like 3, 2, counting us in, I was like, you know that, you're like, just get out your first word.
Totally.
Imagine showing up on set. You haven't had a job. You're in one of the most famous movies of all time remake, and Steven Spielberg's directing you.
Behind the camera.
How cool would that be to have that moment on film? I love that.
It's you know, and I was going to ask you guys if you guys remember the first kind of big thing that you booked, because I remember when I booked my half-hour special, and this is kind of pre-social media, and getting on TV wasn't that easy. And I remember I got the call from the executives, and they were like, "What are you doing on the 16th of October?" And I told them, they were like, "Do you want to shoot your half hour?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then as it hit me over the course, like I rushed and got him off the phone, and no one was there. I was at my mom's house, and I hung up the phone, and I started crying, and no one was in the house. And I went and found a bottle of champagne in the refrigerator and drank it sitting on the floor. Like, I thought about all the gigs that I had done to get there. So I'm sure you guys have those similar moments. It's like your whole career kind of coming, and she's 16. Where's she gonna go?
Mine was weird because mine was on the Dr. Drew show, and I'm pointing over here because our senior executive producer was the executive producer of that show, and I was so ready. I was so excited, and then I got the subject matter, and it was about a rapper named Little Poopy. And I was like, wait, what am I going to say about Little Poopy?
Dreams come true.
Yeah, that's a true story. How much time do we have left?
We got like 30 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds? 10? Okay.
Well, we used to have 10.
Now we have none.
Who's Little Poopy?
That's the bigger question. No, he's not.
What was his hit song?
I don't remember, but I remember commenting on Little Poopy because
you couldn't even make up one?
What?
What would Little Poopy's hit song be?
I don't remember. This was like 10 years ago. I didn't get my big break yesterday.
Oh, I like that.
Zing.
Well,
Coming up.
look at Erica's face.
Community rallies for a little boy battling cancer. We'll show you how they're making his life just a little bit brighter next in Heart Threads. And we couldn't put on a show without all of our coworkers who are working very hard at home during the pandemic. You guys are all appreciated. We'll be right back. Hey, Leo.
Closed captioning provided by...
According to Bloomberg, the work-at-home experiment launched by the coronavirus has proven profitable. It reports new research shows all that work done at your makeshift home office has boosted productivity in the U.S. economy by 5%. The results suggesting that changes made during the pandemic, like adopting new technology, will continue to boost the economy in the future. But of course, not everyone gets to work from home. Frontline workers have some of the lowest paid jobs that cannot be done remotely. So that means wealthier workers are overwhelmingly the ones enjoying the benefits of working from home. Experts warn this is increasing the racial and economic divide in the U.S. Some companies believe this work-from-home experiment will not last. The head of Goldman Sachs has already announced it will do away with it as soon as possible. But some tech giants are leaning in. Facebook saying the work-from-home model has opened up new pools of talent in other cities, while Twitter has announced it will make working from home permanent. Experts predict that will have another side effect, reducing incomes in the Bay Area. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about joy. Watch this 5-year-old play outside for the first time since the pandemic started last year, reminding us all that it's simplest things that give us the most joy.
Volunteers built this boy with cancer a play set to distract from treatment.
I was born in 2015 and I'm 5.
Henry Edwards is fighting T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a type of pediatric leukemia. Since the diagnosis, Henry's parents have tried to make life normal.
We have been stuck inside for months, and he is, in this new chapter where we're not going to the hospital quite as much.
To up his spirits, volunteers from Rogers Builders and Rock Solid Foundation worked together to construct a backyard playset for Henry and his brother. Rock Solid Foundation is known for raising hope for kids fighting with cancer.
And we get to see play defeat cancer, because when that family comes around the corner and they see the play set for the first time, guess what they're not thinking about? Cancer. And we won.
Sarah Edwards, Henry's mom, said Henry's treatment is going well and looks forward to spending time on the play set this summer.
We have had so many days that haven't been great, and so having this to look forward to, and then just seeing the smile on his face when he saw it, and then when he started to get to play and everything. I mean, that's amazing.
Oh, that's what matters. We will be right back.
We all know that
Here's a question we got in an email. If we need to get booster shots, do we stick with the same brand as our original vaccine? Our sources are the FDA, Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious diseases expert from Vanderbilt University, and Dr. Anna Durbin, a vaccines expert from Johns Hopkins University.
Well, at the moment, the scientists in the companies and the NIH are working on kind of phase 2 vaccines, right? So-called boosters. We haven't decided we need them yet.
The other good news is those are starting to be tested, and even different platforms or mixed vaccinations are also starting to be tested, particularly in the UK.
Basically, while we don't know if we need booster shots, the pharmaceutical companies have already started to test for them. And while it's likely if you got, say, a Pfizer vaccine, you would then get a Pfizer booster, testing on mixing brands is also starting.
We'd have to look at that, look at the data, because we want to make sure we maximize the benefit and minimize the side effects.
Most importantly, with all this booster talk, all recommendations about booster shots need to come from the FDA and the CDC, not the pharmaceutical companies.
Welcome back to DBL. Spring is here, and it's time to start thinking about preparing your home for the season. So here's this week's DBL Home Hack presented by American Home Shield. High vac prep is so important. We're talking about the basics: heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Here are 3 signs your AC tune-up might be due. If your utility bills are going up, that means your unit is working overtime because something needs to be replaced. If you smell a bad odor in your house, that might point to a clogged line or mold buildup. And poor airflow could signify a clogged or dirty air filter. Tune-ups are important to keep your air conditioning unit running smoothly. When it comes to your home, American Home Shield warranty helps cover many things homeowner insurance leaves out. Visit ahs.com to learn more and get a free quote today. Anybody having, why are you guys laughing?
I'm not.
Yes, you were.
No.
You don't think I have peripheral vision?
I do. First of all, if anybody, it was Jeff, and I was just gonna, I will throw my friend under the bus. I was going to say this. That's the first thing you learn when you're an adult is, like, you think it's not a big deal to worry about your AC until it goes out and you live in Miami like I did. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine, and it wasn't. And they're so busy, it might be a week, so make sure to handle that.
We were just talking. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it. Nothing.
Sam, if you knew how juvenile we were.
What did I say?
Yeah, we'll talk during the break.
It wasn't you.
No.
Oh. Okay. Out of time.
Things got weird.
Thank you very much. Things got very weird. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The Verify team is here to tackle misinformation spreading online. Take this whopper of a tweet with more than 24,000 likes. Biden says that we can have 4 pounds of red meat per year. My official response today. And headlines like this from the Daily Mail: how Biden's climate plan could limit you to eat just 1 burger a month. So let's avoid political spin and verify. Did the Biden administration propose a plan to slash red meat consumption by 90%? Here are sources. This University of Michigan study from January 2020, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack, and this White House statement on the Biden administration's goals on greenhouse gas reductions. Let's start with where these numbers came from in the first place. In January 2020, researchers at the University of Michigan released this study. It found that greenhouse gas emissions from food could be cut in half if red meat consumption is cut by 90%, along with a 50% drop in all other meats. So that's where these numbers came from. But is the White House actually proposing this? Our researchers started by checking this fact sheet from the White House, breaking down their climate plans, as well as a Biden speech from the recent climate summit. Neither mentioned any changes to meat consumption. We also reached out to the White House, which didn't comment directly, but they did send our team numerous fact checks on the issue, adding that there are no restrictions on red meat consumption as part of the president's climate plans or emission targets. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack answered this question more directly on a media call Monday afternoon, saying there's, quote, no effort designed to limit people's intake of beef coming out of President Biden's White House or the USDA.
In the political world, games get played and issues are injected into the conversation, knowing full well that there's not a factual basis for the issue.
So we can verify that these headlines are misleading. The Biden administration has not proposed a reduction in red meat consumption of 90%. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Tomorrow on DBL, a house of prayer, more like a house of horror.
They're willing to lay down and take beatings and whippings and starvations.
The sick truth behind a facility founded on faith. Tomorrow in True Crime Chronicles, only on DBL.
Ooh, okay, lots of comments about Elon Musk, you guys. Tony says the real question is, can Elon Musk act? Maybe.
That's what you tune in for.
Okay, tell that to the viewer, not me.
Who is it? What's his name?
Tony.
Tony.
Okay, Regina says, what are Elon Musk's credentials for being on there? He's not a singer. He's not an actor. He's not in entertainment at all. And then in regard to Kim K and Van Jones, Belinda says, if Van goes out with Kim, his stock would plummet. Yolanda says, I can totally see them together. Erica, get to the bottom of this for us.
I am not.
Okay. All right. I don't blame you.
You know, it's very hard to find a mentor in this industry, okay?
Yeah, you don't want to burn that bridge, girl. Yeah.
I think it'd be a good thing. He would instantly be one of the most famous men in the world dating her. How is that bad for your profile?
No, you don't want that. You know, he's already got a good thing going. I don't know if you want to get that circus around you, you know?
I guess. She's a different person.
Would you do it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, a quick goodbye to our co-workers who tuned in from home. We will see you all later, everyone. Erica, have a great day. We miss you, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Bye.